Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Hollywood After Dark. Today is the 19th, January 2022. Lord of the Rings finally unveils everything we've been wanting. By that, I just mean a teaser. And the book of Boba Fett. Good, bad, or what the fuck? Also, I'm finally going to pop all of your bubbles for wanting the Snyderverse to continue on HBO Max. I'm sorry, I have to do it. I have to be the bearer of bad news. That's why you come here. I don't preach false hope. I preach the truth. Jarbo Damas, motherfuckers. Let's get into it. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Welcome to the party. It is, of course, another night, another day that you're here with me on Hollywood After Dark. And tonight's going to be a bit of a spicy meatball, as they might say if you work over there at Subway, although this is not going to be a soy-filled meatball. No, sir, we're talking about movies. We're talking about Hollywood. It's after dark, at least here in the States, and so it's going to be pretty fucking wild, and who knows what might be said. But we are going to be joined tonight by a very special guest, a friend of mine who I'm going to be introducing in just a minute. Very happy to have this guy on. But first, if you haven't already decided to jump on the Whad Squad, follow me on social media at mjarbo on Twitter, and of course on Insta and the TikToks, just at Real Matt Jarbo. It's not the most in-depth, amazing name ever, but you know what? It's me, goddammit, and I like it. And of course, appreciate you. If you guys appreciate me, and I hope you do, support the show. Patreon.com/Matt Jarbo is a great way to do that, and I really do appreciate everyone who helps support the channel, whether it's here being a channel member, dropping them supers, or joining up over there on Patreon. It's a great way to help keep this show going every single night, despite me being 20 minutes late. So for that, I apologize. And of course, Podio commentary is going to be coming back this week. I watched Extraction this morning for this episode. Really liked the movie, really looking forward to talking about it. And of course, that episode will be up by the end of the week. So check that out at youtube.com/Podio commentary. And so for that, I think it's going to be a good evening tonight as we talk about Lord of the Rings, as we talk about Mr. Boba Fett. And to join me talking about Mr. Boba Fett is, you might know him, you might not know him, you should know him. This guy's the real deal. He ain't no fucking bedpan wearing motherfucker. Jason from Making Star Wars. Sorry, I had to throw out a little bit of Doomcock hatred there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm happy to be here to talk about Star Wars with you.
Yes, well, you know, we definitely like the Star Wars here. I think we can honestly say that we do like Star Wars here, whereas there are a lot of people out there who like to talk about it, but usually not in necessarily like the best of ways.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the whole thing is, I think when you actually like it and you have something bad to say about it, it carries a little bit more critical weight than when everything's just a grift about it.
Well, well, that is true. That is very true. I mean, a lot of people out there, and when we talk about the Lord of the Rings stuff, again, you can start to see like the new grift kind of starting to form up, the new angle that these people are trying to take. Because I would argue at this point, and maybe you'll agree or disagree, I'm not too sure, but do you think that Star Wars is in a relatively good place?
Not exactly, but it's sort of like in this liminal place where it kind of hasn't got moving again. And everything I understand about Boba is that it was sort of fast tracked and pushed in, and then you had the pandemic hit, and so it's sort of like in this in between place where we're not really to a bigger, larger story yet, and we kind of just have this treadmill of good fan service, but just fan servicey kind of content. And I'm hoping that like when we get to Kenobi, for instance, that it's like this needs to exist, and when we get to the new content, to the new like Acolyte, we're like, whoa, I never knew I needed this. Like I'm hoping that's what happens, but
yeah, I'm hoping that as well. I mean, like, look, I personally think that compared to where it was, let's say 4 years ago, much better place. You know, it's just a much better place, like coming off The Last Jedi. You know, there's not the disastrous opening of Solo, which I still feel has more to do with the release date versus any kind of backlash to The Last Jedi. I think Memorial Day was just not a good weekend. And there's a reason why they haven't gone back to it since then. But I do feel also that Solo in the last couple of years has found a very, very kind of dedicated little cult following of people who are dying to see more.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and that's
And
kind of what we're hearing with Boba a little bit, you know?
I think with Boba, there was just so much like house cleaning it had to do. These check boxes of things that like needed to go on. And like my critical assessment at the first part of it is that doing that house cleaning, it took 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Did it need to?
I don't think it needed to,
I
which
don't
just
think
kind of makes me beg the question, and I'm is a little hyperbolic, but does Boba Fett suck?
yeah.
And I've been seeing this a lot on social media. Now, for the record, I don't believe so, but it hasn't always blown my skirt up. Not like Mando did. You
Right.
know, like Mando, Bad Batch, Clone Wars season 7 minus that middle arc,
Mhm.
that I think played out better in the Bad Batch, right? When we get a little down the road with it. But for the most part, everything that's been on Disney Plus Star Wars related, even the 2 holiday specials, have been fun. Boba, like you're right. There was house cleaning. They had to check those boxes. Like, okay, how to get out of the Sarlacc pit, and they had to show it. There's, some people have said, well, they could just allude to it. Like, no, 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 no. It's
Yeah.
been like 40 years. People want to see that shit.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think the first 4 episodes, like I just feel like it's messy, like it was written in almost like stream of conscious. Like here we have the check boxes, we're just getting through it, writing it out, and I feel like it needed to be reorganized and re-edited. Like most of the stuff with the Sarlacc probably could have actually happened maybe in 1 episode or like really close together. And instead it's like we just keep going back in these memories to the same place, and it makes it feel like it's like really a long hard slog. But
Well,
I
I
think there's a
think,
light at the end of the tunnel, though. I think the next 3 are present tense, and it's
yeah.
gonna redeem it, so
Well,
to
they
speak.
have to. They
Mhm.
absolutely have
Better.
to ramp it up. So I'll say this. So like I watched the pilot episode about 3 times.
Mhm.
And I really like it because I like the foundation that it was laying out. I liked, okay, we're going to be doing the flashbacks and we're going to having the present day stuff. Okay, cool. I thought episode 2 they'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
Episode 2 was dope. Like the train, the train heist, and like introducing the Pikes and seeing them without, seeing them and finally getting them in live action, and getting to establish what felt more of like a real Western.
Mhm.
Like it had that real Western vibe, kind of Dances with Wolves vibe a little bit, maybe a little bit of Avatar vibe. If we're going to be pulling out that pop culture card as something that's going to be, a comparison, and
It's
then
very
you get
tropey, very
it is
tropey in a good
tropey,
way,
it's super tropey,
in a
yeah. And
great
then
way.
you get to episode 3, and episode 3, like, while not terrible, it felt like the cheapest episode. It felt so
Yeah.
cheap to me, and I was watching again, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, I can never pronounce the guy's name, the Black Wookiee, the
Oh, Black Chrysanthemum.
Chrysanthemum, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you see him in episode 2, like, that's dope. Oh, he looks pretty cool. I mean, he doesn't look as good as Chewie, right? Like a little bit off, it still looks pretty good. And then you get to episode 3 and that whole fight scene with the back to tank and like the mob, or the modders,
Yeah.
right? Like showing up to fight, and it's just like, okay, whatever. Like, it just didn't grab me. And then you get to that Vespa chase scene, and everyone is focusing on the colors of the bikes, like, oh, they're all Power Rangers. I was like, I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077
Same.
recently, so it's like none of that bothered me. I was like, oh, cool, that makes like a lot of sense. Like there would be modifications like that,
Yeah,
and,
you ever feel like if like they're just like not leaning into it enough? Like
yeah, a little
if
bit.
you're gonna do it, like you need to really do it, and they're kind of
Well,
like they don't want to go too far, but then it's there. It's just kind of it's like, what are you doing?
well, I think this episode picked up the pace.
Yeah.
And so it's like, for one, the flashbacks on all fronts have worked well for me. I love the flashbacks. I don't even think we needed. You could have established like the first 2 episodes doing all the flashback stuff without even establishing anything that
Mhm.
happened at Mos Espa in the beginning. Like, just start off with the flashbacks and then go right into your story. I don't, because I think the pacing got really hurt, because like what happens in the modern time, nothing's really happening in the modern time. There's been one action scene really,
He's
with,
walking around like it's Lord of the Rings.
yeah, 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 without his helmet on and everything, and so it's like, and he's kind of like this pacifist. kind of
Yeah.
guy. You know, it's like, wait, Boba the pacifist? Like, what the fuck? Nobody wants Boba the pacifist. Everybody wants Boba to lay waste to some people. And because that's like the hype. That's what's been built, especially with that introduction of what was it, chapter 7 or chapter 6 in no, it's chapter 6, I think, in Mando season 2.
Hmm.
Right? Like that minute 15 of Boba just fucking up the stormtroopers, like literally gave old man Viagra. It was like, it just beat, put it in their nuts, and it was like, nah, right? Like everyone really, my metaphors are terrible, so just go with me on that one. But
I'm all about it.
yeah, right. It's just, but it was such a cool thing. And so when, they're like, the book of Boba Fett is coming, everyone's like, yeah, Boba's gonna like fuck up some people. And then you get to it and it's like old man Boba, and he's just like, I don't want to fight. I'm chilling. Like I'm just not gonna kill this dude. You want to live? Just I guess work for me, kind of. I don't know, like fucking Netflix, anybody? Like
Yeah, no, there's just like so many moments where like when he releases Black Chrysanthemum, he like runs away. It's like really kind of like awkward and
it
like
felt
weird.
like that
And
old Bigfoot, that Bigfoot footage, of
yeah,
like
it makes me laugh.
it didn't
It's
look, yeah, it just looked terrible.
yeah.
But the Rancor was great. Like the Rancor was
Oh,
awesome.
beautiful.
Danny Trejo, that scene was like, again, like that episode is so weird because like when it was off, but when it was on, it was on.
Yeah.
And like again, I'm watching that again, and I look over and I'm like, I remember watching it, and I'm like, oh wait, that looks like Danny Trejo. Like, nah, they wouldn't put Danny Trejo in this. I'm like, oh no, it's Rodriguez. Like, of course they're gonna put Danny Trejo in, and of course he's gonna be Machete in space. Fuck yeah, Machete, don't raise rancors, right? Like, I fucking love Danny Trejo, like ever since Desperado back in '95.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
He's fucking just such a cool guy,
Yeah.
and so and so like they did that. I thought that was good. But with this episode, what I liked was it felt like there were stakes. And I'm going to tell you what I feel the key thing is: the
Okay.
director. Rodriguez is the weakest link on that show. He was the weakest link even in the entire second season of Mando, from a directorial standpoint.
Gotta tell you something about that though.
Okay.
So these shows, they get a director, like Steph Green, right? Was credited with the best episode, I think, so far.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, she's done a bunch of good TV, but where I'm going with this is, in a weird way, I don't mean to like take away from any of the other directors, but directors in these shows are almost like glorified second unit directors. Like
Okay.
like
So who's
like most of the people who I talked to about most of the important scenes who worked on the film, it was Rodriguez directing most of it.
okay?
So it's the blame gets spread around. It's not exactly as black and white as you would think on that front.
But I
Like
mean, like there
the
was
whole
such a
Jabba sequence, or the whole
yeah,
hut sequence and all that stuff, all that great stuff. That was
yeah.
all Rodriguez directing it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, because the thing is, like I'm watching it, and it just felt like Kevin Tarchowen, who directed last night's episode or today's episode. I know him
Mhm.
from like not only Agents of Shield, but do you all remember that 2010 Mortal Kombat web series, that little 10-minute episode that popped up with like Michael Jai White?
Oh wow,
And
I forgot about that.
yeah, he was the one who directed that.
Okay.
Right? He was the one who directed that. And so like, so I've known about this guy for a long time. He's a good, solid action director. Like his work on, if you go and you watch like I think it's like the season finale of Agents of Shield season 2, it's a solid fucking episode. And he directed that. His sister is also Marissa Tarchowen, who is Jed Whedon's wife. So she's Joss Whedon's sister-in-law. Right.
Okay.
So it's like they're all kind of tied together. I think it's like, kind of maybe bad timing for anyone who's associated with the Whedons to do anything of merit. But watching this episode, you could just tell there was a different feeling to it. It just felt more grounded. It just felt like when, like when they brought the slave one over the pit, I thought that was a cool scene. I was like, what are you doing?
Mhm.
But I enjoyed it. But then like right before then though, like I'll tell you this, what I was waiting for was what happened in this episode when Boba unloads on those bikers with the slave one. I'm like, that is who I've been waiting for. Like I'm just going to be a pacifist kind of guy until you fucking piss me off. And I think at this point, that is what we, the audience, are waiting for. It's like, war is coming. Cool. We need angry Boba, like that's what we want.
Yeah, is it like, are they doing a slow build and then into like now you've pushed me over the line and now I'm gonna really lay waste to all of this, and but it's really painful on a week by week basis? Like, is that what we're experiencing? And then in the end, we have it all packaged up in 7 episodes on Disney Plus, and we could watch it all in one sitting, and it's great. Or that's my hope. Right now,
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping. I'm
Well,
hoping because he was so rad in Mando, like that moment where he shoots the missile at the ship in the sky and hits the wrong one, but takes them both down. One of the
yeah.
best moments I think that they've done in modern Star Wars.
Yeah.
And so I was expecting that, like hitting the ground here, and
I'm
we
really
did it.
surprised that they slowed it down as much as they did. But one of my frequent guests and co-hosts and friends, Saggy Mellons, just jumped in. She wants to talk about Boba Fett as well.
Hi.
What's going on, Saggy? Oh my God. Okay,
I was
she.
muted. I'm a boomer, apparently. No,
Hi,
I was like,
Shaggy.
I won't. Hello, nice to meet you. I said I won't derail because I really want to talk Boba Fett because I'm not a Star Wars fan, and I like the Mandalorian. It kind of got me into the Star Wars world. And with Boba Fett, I think it started off cool. I was more interested in the Tusken Raiders story arc with Boba Fett. And like I said in the back, I was like, dude, I had that same thought that maybe they're building up to like this is not the Boba Fett we expected, but I feel like they're building up to like towards the end, he's gonna just something's gonna happen where he's just gonna snap, be like, you know what? I tried to be different. I tried to do things a different way, and now I'm just angry, and everyone's catching the hands. So I feel like that's where it's going because that's the only thing that makes logical sense as far as the storytelling, and I hope that's where it's going. But I have to say that last episode that you guys were talking about, like there were a lot of like I have to agree with Jarbo. There were a lot of times where it was like, huh? Oh, okay. Wait, what? Oh, okay. And I was just like, it's very inconsistent. It's just very weird. Where it started off pretty good, and then now that we have the whole story with his time with Tusken Raiden's kind of over, it's like now I'm
Yeah.
like sad because I wanted more of that backstory where they kind of just jumped from one like story arc to like the big like, oh, this is what happened so we can explain in season 3 why these people coming back to this is a bad thing. I was like, no, can we just get the full Tusken Raiders story, like all of his time there, his experience, why he was so like why they allowed him to become one of them. Like there was a huge thing that I wanted to see. I was more interested in that story than everything else. So yeah, I agree though with you that I do feel like it is building, hopefully it is building up to him becoming Boba, like the actual Boba Fett that we know, because he's getting his butt handed to him right
Well,
now.
but I'll tell you this
Yeah.
though. Part of that is something I've liked, where it's like I really enjoyed the idea that both Fennec and Boba were in over their heads. You
Right.
know, I like that because I'm like, oh, it's kind of funny. It's like, oh, okay, like Boba's like, yeah, I'm gonna come and take over. Ah, shit, son. You know, like you're smart, but now you're dealing with other politics at play because when you get into the world of organized crime, it's as much politics as it is violence. And
Right.
so it's like
Mhm.
trying to figure that out and figure everything else out in the process. But the thing that really kind of, again, bothered me about just like the pacing of the last week's episode was just like, it just felt like, okay, what are we doing here? And it was, I think they could have done like the death of the Tuscans at the end of episode 2 as like kind of a cliffhanger sort of thing, and then like set that up as something else, like the emotional arc moving into the next episode, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I would have edited it a little bit differently, I think. But I will say though that I felt that with this episode, like the stuff in the casino with the Wookiee was great. Just like the way that they shot him and like him getting drunk and pissed off was awesome.
But it also like that moment should have actually happened in front of Jabba's palace when he runs away and we were laughing at him.
Yeah.
That's when he should have been hired.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I kind
It
of,
was like such a redundant like sort of like encounter when it was all set up right there. The whole stage was set, and instead they elongated it. But I want to say I think that it like somebody who's not a crazy rabid Star Wars fan, I think your perspective on this is like invaluable because there's so much inside baseball. There's so much stupid stuff that they could put in this that makes me go, "Oh, cool! Bosk showed up" or something like that, and I'm excited. But it's a cheap out. It doesn't really have any lasting power. And so somebody who just kind of like enjoys it for what it is as a coherent story if you're saying that, and I'm feeling the same way that you are actually. The Tusken Raider stuff, that's my same take on it. I keep hoping that the mother and the son are alive and that the Pikes are going to pull them out. Like once Boba starts going ballistic, I think that that's going to be like the big, now what are you going to do? Because they are alive.
I would love that. I would love to see that because I really enjoyed. Again, everyone loved the Tuscans. Like back in the 70s, everyone's like, "Oh, sand people, fuck them," right? You know. And then now it's like, no, but they're like my people, man. Like
Yeah.
we're like emotionally connected to these guys now. And
Wait,
again, it's
sand
all about
people? We don't say that word. Those
Yeah.
are Tusken Raiders.
yeah,
friend.
that's their word. Okay.
Whoa,
Like,
whoa.
you know what I mean? Like, like little things like that, but like also seeing Boba kind of go through the process of like living with them for a long time, actually, like living with them probably for a number of years. And then, kind of adapting into their ways and stuff. I always kind of enjoyed, again, I really liked that. A lot of people did. I really liked how they even like took Ralph McQuarrie art and they put it into the show, like as a little Easter egg for the diehard, but again, someone like Saggy, who is, again, she's coming at this from like, you just started watching Mando like this year, right? Or like late last year.
Yeah. And that's why I was going to say, that's why Mandalorian for me personally, I thought was a success, even for Star Wars fans, because I feel like I never got into Star Wars because it was just about the story, the main characters, and you got to see all these other elements in Star Wars, but they didn't really dive deep into too much, like Jawas and Tusken Raiders. Like you saw them, pretty much the basis of them, but Mandalorian, you really first got like in the world, like you really got immersed into the world of Star Wars in the Mandalorian. And same with Boba Fett, I will say that too. Like they really are taking these characters and putting them into the world, so it's like more about the world and the galaxy and everything around it, rather than just Luke Skywalker, the main characters from the story. So for me, being not a fan of the original, just because I didn't get sucked into the world like maybe everybody else did, Mandalorian and Boba Fett did that for me. So yeah, coming into these shows as kind of like a noob is really interesting, because I think with Mandalorian, amazing. I loved every minute of Mandalorian. Boba Fett, again, hit and miss. Like the first 2 episodes got me in. But then, like I said, once they took that whole Tusken Raiders story arc, which that was really awesome, because I really got interested in Tusken Raiders because of Mandalorian when they had them in there. And I was like, ooh, this is going to be interesting, when they were like, oh, he's going to join the Tusken Raiders. What? It's like a little tribe. It was cool. It reminded me of Jarbo, what's that movie? And maybe you also know it. When the white guy becomes with the
Dances
Indians.
with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves. It reminds me of Dances with
like
Wolves. That's why I liked it.
I mean, you could also just say Avatar.
Yeah, it really gave me Dances with Wolves vibes with that story arc, and I love Dances with Wolves.
Well, I think
a few years ago, I was at a screening, and I ended up hanging out with Dave Filoni for about a half hour, and all the guy talked about the whole time was Avatar. That he loves.
Well, Avatar: The Last Airbender, or Avatar James Cameron?
No. James Cameron's Avatar.
Wait, was this when you saw Rise of Skywalker?
No, this was actually when they did the Savage Opress Clone Wars screening.
Oh, okay. Because I remember I was in LA when on the same day you saw Rise of Skywalker, and I was hoping to meet up with you, but I went to a different screening.
Right.
So that I was bummed. I was like, I want to meet Jason. Yeah. But I think I agree. It's like there's a lot that they've done there. I do agree with H Bart's here, and thank you for the $2 super chat, buddy. It says it needs more Rick Famuyiwa. Completely agree. I really want to see. I don't know why he's not. I mean, hopefully he's doing Mando season 3, but I really want to see more of his story work, because I thought he did some great episodes in season 1, and the one episode in season 2 was, I mean, like arguably, I don't know, man, like as good as the season finale was, Bill Burr knocked it out of the park. Like,
oh my god,
just was so good. That
talk about a quick redemption arc too.
Oh, well, no, everyone knew Miggs was going to be a thing. Like when Bill Burr shows up, and he's famously known for hating Star Wars, and that was kind of the whole joke, was Jon Favreau's like, hey, listen, we know you hate Star Wars. You want to be in it? And like,
I wonder if does he still hate Star Wars after being, I wouldn't imagine so, being part of the world.
He's actually he's not like a huge fan, I think, but he's like, I like Star. Yeah. He's like, I like it.
Yeah. He explained that he's like, basically as a comedian, I have to take the piss out of whatever the big thing is. And that's what I was doing, and now he's all, I'm a hypocrite, and he laughs.
Yeah. But he's like, but the thing is, all these people are just clamoring for more. You know, like they're clamoring for more MIGs. They're like, give us more MIGs, give us more MIGs.
That whole story arc actually made me like tear up. Like I started crying, and I like my biggest thing is if a movie or a TV show can make me have feelings and make me like physically tear up because the story is so moving. I'm like, all right, you got me. Like, this is good because that's what I want in entertainment. I want these things to make me feel, and it had its funny moments, but then, like I said, that emotional thing. It built. Oh my god, yeah, his character. Oh my god, I couldn't believe it.
It was the best performance in Star Wars. I think it's the best performance in Star Wars. Strangely enough,
yeah. I'll tell you this though, that's actually more of an arc than Finn got in the entire sequel trilogy, and like that one fucking episode. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, you know, I mean, so there's clearly problems with the sequel trilogy, which is my fear with this is that because the sequel trilogy played it safe. And this is kind of also playing it a little bit on the safe side, you know, by changing the name of Slave One to the Fire Spray gunship, which we're always going to call it Slave One. That's never going to be any different. Yeah. I think that calling it the Fire Spray is like one thing that's fine, you know, because that's classification of the ship.
Why do they change it?
Because it's called Slave One, you know, they don't want that. They can't put that, like, you can't put that on a fucking Lego set for kids. You know, you can't,
but it's like, why not like lean into it? Why not have Boba say like my ship used to be called this, and
my ship was called Kuta Kinte.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But like I don't agree with that.
That's roots. Yeah, Toby. It's called Toby.
It's called Toby.
It's called Toby.
Now it's called LeVar Burton.
Oh man, no, I think it's interesting. Like that's why I wanted to come on because I was just like, no, I actually want to talk about Star Wars because I find it fascinating talking to like fans where I'm not one, and even I can enjoy the shows that you guys, you know, you guys pretty much grew up on, you know, Star Wars, and I tried, but it just wasn't my cup of tea back then, you know. There were other things I was into.
I wanted to ask you, like the quote, like Skywalker saga. Is it that you just don't like the characters, or just never got into it, or was there just so much it was like overwhelming and it just sounded like work rather than entertainment? Like,
I think what it was, like I do like the originals, like they were okay, but the whole story, it kind of just, I don't know, it just kind of started losing me. I think it was a little too much to kind of keep up with. You know, Luke Skywalker, like, let's just call him in my because I'm an anime, we'll call him like he's Goku for me. You know, the main character who just can't be defeated. Every time he trains, he just gets stronger. So he pretty much is a god. And I felt like, you know, they focused on Luke, and I understand that you need that main hero and everything. And, you know, I did like the first, you know, few movies where it's like, you know, Luke finds out who his father is, the big bad guy. Oh my God, it's my dad. Whoa. And that stuff was cool. But then like it just kept going on, and, you know, let's not even talk about the prequel ones. Like those ones could have just been done so much better. But yeah, no,
I mean, I like the prequels. I'll fucking say it.
I do. I do.
I like the prequels.
But I understand. I get it. Like I get it. I feel like when people talk about the prequels, what they're really talking about is Phantom Menace. Like I just and like even that is hard to go back like 20 years later and go, ooh, some of this stuff did not hold the fuck up. But then you go like and you watch like Revenge of the Sith, and you're like, oh my God, it absolutely held up.
I didn't care about Anakin Skywalker that young. Like, I didn't care about him that young because obviously at that age we knew he wasn't going to be like a bad person or bad guy when he's like young. Obviously, that's like kind of common sense. You grow up to become evil. So him starting off that young for me was kind of just like, I don't care. Like, you're just giving me another Luke Skywalker story arc. And instead, this is basically, what if Luke Skywalker became to the dark side? Well, there you go. Now we got the Anakin. Like, we already knew that he was going to become dark. We could have, if they did it where he was like, you know, just getting in to becoming like a Jedi, and then we like the other one that they came out with where they did do that would have been fine. But like when they were just like, we're just gonna give you guys like a baby version of Darth Vader and tell Luke Skywalker's story, but it was just like, eh.
Well, I think the way, but Lucas kind of approached it as more like like I've always said that when it comes to Star Wars, time is cyclical. And because it follows a lot of the same patterns, because it's one of those things where if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it, which is essentially like, I think kind of feel like when you look at like the sequel trilogy, They kind of looked at that and maybe took it a little bit too literally, you know. Although, did you hear the other day that that JJ had wanted to blow up Coruscant in episode 7, and like Hosnian Prime is what like he got talked into? I'm like, nah, dude. If the whole point of the First Order is to take out the New Galactic Republic, then nuke Coruscant. Like, it's not even a question. Like, you took out Mon Mothma's home planet. Whoop-de fucking do. There's no connection to that planet. There's nothing there as a fan base. Because look, a lot of Star Wars relies on Easter eggs. It relies a lot on nostalgia and things we've already been to, you know? So it's like, fucking take out Coruscant. Like, if the it's not, it's fuck it.
I could see Lucasfilm's like perspective of going, we don't want you to like do that, but then Lucasfilm's payoff was they don't touch it and do anything with it after that.
Yeah,
might as well have blown it up. And
why was Leia, who was a princess, you know, and a general in the Resistance, or sorry, in the Rebellion? Yeah, I'm getting confused. That Rebellion is the original.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out the storyline, not the storyline, the timeline, because in Boba Fett met the Mandalorian, and I don't want to spoil anything, but you know who shows up at the end looking so fresh and so clean and so young. So I'm like, why is Boba Fett so old looking? Like, he's supposed to be probably around the same age, maybe a little older than Luke Skywalker. So why does he look so old, like his age?
He's supposed to be in his early 40s, but he definitely looks like he's in his 50s.
Oh yeah, he definitely looks so.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, he has lived a very hard life. You know, I mean, I think that's fair thing to say, right?
Post Sarlacc, I mean, who knows what after the Sarlacc? That's why he looks old. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you could argue, you could make the argument too that oh yeah, you know, he looked a certain way, and then after that, like, you know, the Sarlacc pit, the scars all kind of messed with him, you know, and that ended up really kind of hurt him down the road. I'll
give him a pass on that then, because I was just like, I know Boba Fett was not that old. Like,
no, he's not that old. But here, I'll show you guys. This is what Star Wars Theory had to say about that J.J. Abrams thing. Posting on Instagram. You suck, bro. and then going on to say,
that's kind of rude.
Yeah, right. Tired of these professionals destroying Star Wars with their half-baked ideas and agendas. To future Star Wars writers, it's not about your version of Star Wars. It's about what's best for the story created by George Lucas. Star Wars isn't just a paycheck. It's not your equivalent of licking fruit in the grocery store and putting it back on the shelf as if it's your flag of victory planted into the earth. The story is bigger than that. That's like the most Canadian way of saying kind of fuck you. But I mean, at the same time,
it's his phone.
Like, yeah, he does. Well, this is whoever took a screenshot of this, posted it to Reddit. So okay. I kind of have to laugh at this just because I'm like, fuck off, dude. Like, you know, it's like these stories are going to be interpreted. Like, did you ever? I mean, even what Lucas had originally pitched to Bob Iger, you know, when they were getting ready to like buy Lucasfilm, sounded kind of dumb. I'm sorry, like the general audience did not want to go into the midichlorians, like did not want to go into it to a microbiological level. Like nobody did, you know, it wasn't like, that's not what, look, okay, this is what I think people want. And I'm going to use another franchise. People don't want more Alien. They want more aliens. That's what they want. And for some reason, even in regards to the fucking Alien franchise, they haven't quite seemed to grasp that yet. The concept, and this is why I think Mando works in the way that Mando does. Mando works because it is telling you a story. It's a very simple story. Mercenary, he has a package. It's a child. He's going to protect the child. Now all the all the extraneous forces are going to come at them. Okay. That's their mission. Cool. It's very simple. And he's dealing with his own ideology, especially in season 2 and then being a father and love and all that kind of stuff. Great.
Most of us are born into a cult. We identify.
Yeah, exactly. And so I feel like in this particular case, like people just want to hold on to what was originally done and never have it go anywhere else. But you can still tell those kind of stories, but expand it in a way that where it's going to be more like action packed. Why did people like Star Wars Rogue One so fucking much? It had nothing to do with any of the main characters.
Right.
And they all fucking died in the end.
Right. That's why I liked it.
But there were stakes. You know, there were stakes. There was something there that they could lose. This we knew what the outcome was going to be, but there were still stakes for characters as you grow to become attached to them. and everything else. I think the
Man-
problem is again, it was more like Disney does play it a bit on the safe side, which I will agree with Star Wars theory on. I just find him whining about it to be pretty funny.
Well-
Yeah, I mean, it's like George Lucas. I mean, he didn't have an idea. Like what he's just said is actually nothing. It would be like, I don't know, it would be like dating somebody and then going, stop what you're doing, be more like George Lucas. Which they're like, what do you mean? Be more like George. Be more like George. It doesn't. It's nothing. There's nobody can do that. Nobody knows what you mean.
Yeah, is that just go
It's-
like, so what? I hate sand.
Yeah, it doesn't actually like I said, it's nothing. It's just a callback. It's a Dave Filoni style callback to nothing. You
It
know?
kind of is. It kind of is. And I mean, the thing is, like, I love Filoni. Like, I love Filoni.
Sure, me
I
too.
feel, but I do feel like, again, like him and Favreau, I do think are playing it a bit safe here, and I'm hoping that changes. I'm hoping that they start really raising the stakes, because what they've done in my mind is they took a franchise that was like, it had a lot of people that were just not happy with it, with where it was going and the direction that it was going, and they took it and they simplified it. They brought it back to essentially what its basics are: good versus evil, and some of the gray space that contains within. But they established villains, they established stakes, and they established rules. Cool. You can still play within that space, you know. But it's like, this just feels like, okay. Well, maybe, you know, let me ask you this: would it have been better if they would have released episodes or chapter 1 and chapter 2 for Book of Boba at the same time, to get us through that little bit and then go week to week, or do the first 3 episodes to just finish up the Tusken Raider arc before moving into the final 4? See, I think as much as I'm a big fan of the week to week mentality, because I feel like it builds anticipation. Like, for example, we have an hour until Peacemaker drops, and I'm very excited for that. But I feel also that you have to establish an arc for people to get connected to, which is something that they just haven't done yet. Now, I do agree with North Star here. It says Jennifer Beals is hot. Yeah.
Yeah, that was magical.
That was, I was all like, ooh, Jennifer Beals is a Twi'lek. And then I'm like, Jennifer Beals is a Twi'lek, baby. You know, like,
Lord.
what? Listen, shh. No saggy. All right.
They were having a bunch of flashbacks, and they got flash dance. It makes sense to me. It all adds up. So I'm all about it. But yeah, I honestly, in a weird way, like as a Star Wars guy, like you know, I'm not really down with the tentacle head things. I'm like, you know, a bunch of people are into it. I'm like, yeah, it looks weird, but
I think that's
she transcends it though. I could see past those tentacles on her head.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Look, all I'm going to say is this. This is 2 words: handlebars.
Handlebars. Yeah.
Oh Lord! Yeah, I was gonna say pigtails. There you go. It's like pigtails. Just think of them like pigtails. You'll be fine.
When you put it that way, I'm okay. Fine. I'm all about
TW here
this
says
product.
Jarbo, no horny on man.
Lord have
I'm
mercy.
not. No one's going to do a stream on me. I'm not sending eggplant emojis to anybody. You know,
Oof.
that's a whole thing. I'll tell you about that later, Jason. But so yeah, I mean, like, I guess because like we could maybe start looking to move on and stuff. You know, at the end of the day, like, are you still excited for the show? Are you excited to see where it goes?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. I think that the next 3 episodes are going to be why it was made. But the question that I always ask myself when something new from Star Wars, if it's a book, a comic, or a movie, did this need to exist? Did this give me anything? Did this further anything? And like right now, my opinion is it doesn't need to exist. I imagined him crawling out of the pit, and you did it you elongated it, and I don't know if it needs to exist. But these next episodes, I think, are going to push him into the future of that era of Star Wars, and that's where it has the real shot. And so, but if these next episodes don't really do it, then it's probably, I think, the worst Star Wars thing they've made under Disney in live action.
Wow. That's like very, very hot or cold, you know, as like one or the other. And I get that. I understand that entirely. I feel like there's a lot here that can really just do some cool stuff. Yeah. And like, I understand the you know, to get it done, they have to like reestablish stuff, because the stories always do. Mm-hmm. But it's also like this, you know, 6, 7, 8 episode, we're still not even too fucking sure if it's 7 episodes, they, because like there's still been some debate about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
There's 7.
Okay, because I've heard
It was supposed to be 6 when they launched it. Some people started fake rumors that there was 9 or 10. That was all garbage.
Oh, okay.
It was going to be 6, and it actually went up to 7. We actually got a bonus episode when you get down to it.
But then the question becomes, do we need a bonus episode?
Yeah, good question.
That's again, like the pacing.
It depends where the story goes.
Well, we'll end it with this, and this is a bit of a spoiler, but McLeodier says the way that the episode ended with that auditory tip of the hat to a big ass cameo we're going to be getting. As soon as I heard that theme, I damn near fucking lost it. Yeah, I'll tell you what made me lose it last night. That was the second thing. What made me lose it was in a good way was the scene at the dinner table when when the Rancor fucking scared all the guys. I was chuckling so loud at that. Like for a solid 2-3 minutes, I was just chuckling. I was like, there we go. That's it. That's what we need to see. This kind of, mental fucking with these people and shit. Like, oh, he's just one guy. What is he going to do? He's not going to do anything. He's like, oh, I got a Rancor now, by the way.
Yeah, and it cuts to the Wookiee, and the Wookiee's like, that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember there was a pit. You thought there was something. No, wait. Oh, there's something now.
No, yeah. So I really enjoyed that because I think it played off. Also, the relationship between Fennec and Boba, I think, is great. It is one of my more favorite pairings in Star Wars. I just kind of like how they worked together and how they got back the Slave One, and the whole episode with them was great. Like, I'm like, you don't even need to again, just kind of keep them together as it goes on. And I'm very happy with that. I think it's just, with any luck, we'll be able to see something maybe more, gripping story-wise. I mean, do you think Mando's going to pop up in this next episode?
Oh, I know he does.
Oh, okay. So, you know some shit? I don't know some shit.
Yeah, yeah. Are we allowed to talk about that stuff?
Well, I mean, I don't want to. Well, I know that there was Reddit leaks, and I did cover them before. Well, I mean, no. Look, if you hear that auditory tip of the hat, all right, go back to chapter 5.
It's obvious now. They like literally tell you at the end.
Well, remember chapter.
I expect them to anyways.
Well, but remember chapter 1 or chapter 5, season 1, when Fennec is dead. We think Fennec is dead. Here comes the mysterious person walking. And the speculation at first was, could it be Cad Bane? Because we've been hearing, there's been a lot of speculation about Cad Bane for a long time. Yeah. But then you hear the spurs, and then you're like, oh fuck, no, they're not getting, like, no. And then everyone the next day was like, here's that clip from Empire Strikes Back where you hear Boba walk and you hear the spurs and it's the same sound effect. And you're like, that's him. Mm-hmm. And then the next year we get to see him. And so it's like, holy shit. So yeah, I think at this point that auditory tip of the hat is because they know people want more Mando. Like, they have to know, like, whatever this delay is. But do you think, okay, is it true that like there was a problem with Pedro on set for season 2 that caused this delay, or is it just the filming of The Last of Us season?
No, well, what originally happened was, like, I actually had the scoop about Pedro being cast in that show, and they were already filming before he had even signed the contract.
Yeah,
and
which makes sense.
He came into the first season super late, and then in season 2, that's when they decided to move in with the face stuff. Well, what ended up happening is when they started this quote season 3 was Boba. And then everyone started saying, oh, they're just moving him out. It's a whole different show. The show has a whole new direction now. And it's because they were filming Book of Boba under Mando season 3's budget lines, because it was just to keep it secret, and because they weren't going to do Mando season 3 at that time. And so...
well, why not? Why weren't they going to do Mando season 3 at the time?
Because they ended up coming... because of this Boba side story. And they ended up getting Boba fast-tracked in. I see. So they filmed Boba as Mando season 3, but it wasn't Mando season 3. And then basically, because when Mando comes back, I don't know. I'm not saying it won't be a Grogu story, but when Mando comes back, it's not a Grogu story.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Not be though.
Right. Well, yeah, that's what I say too. That's why I'm like, that's a hard one. That's
right.
It's not mainlining that Grogu,
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this right now. So my 4-year-old is asleep on the couch because she's not feeling well. I get home from work. I go check on her, and usually I pull her blanket up or whatever if she's out there, and her baby Yoda, her fucking the one that we got, because we have two of them. We have the two from the ones from Costco, and she's got that with her, and it's bundled up next to her, cuddling with her, sleeping right now.
Aw.
My daughter knows Baby Yoda. She loves Baby Yoda. Doesn't know the fucking show. And like
Obviously.
I've put Baby Yoda on, I've like clips and stuff on YouTube, and she's not interested in anything Mando related. Like I am all in Mando, but she just wants Baby Yoda. And so that's her whole thing. And that's like going to be that generational shift that goes down the road when like all these kids grow up that know Baby Yoda right now, or Grogu, and then they're going to like grow up with that and be huge fans. I mean, it's clearly a long-term play by Disney. Do you know, I heard somebody over on the associated with the Midnight's Edge nonsense make the claim that that the show is failing because kids are buying the merch, but they don't actually watch the show.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make a lick of sense. But then again, it's Midnight's Edge, so that's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But but that is some of the weird stuff that they're talking about with that stuff over there, is they just make those kind of claims. And so, but yeah, it's like, no, kids are buying this stuff. I see Grogu merch everywhere, on like kids of varying ages.
Every morning when I take my kids to school, I just see it all over the place, from their face masks that they have to wear to the backpacks and shirts and all that stuff. Like, it's
Oh, dude, I bought that giant pop of Baby Yoda before I even saw the show. So I had the Baby Yoda fever before I saw the show. And then I was like, all right, I have to see this now, because I feel like
I'll put it to you guys like this. I'm not into Funko Pops. Like, I like looking at Funko Pops. I don't want to own any. I just don't really feel the need for it. But no, the only ones I care about, like legitimately give a shit about, are anything with Mandalorian. Like Jess here, who did pop down $2, thank you, says the Boba Fett series needs some consistency with time. I agree, but just recently, Jess sent me a package, and there was a Grogu the child Funko Pop in there, and I really, really, really like it. And he just sent me a Boba Fett little plushie for Christmas. So it's like, and I'm all down for that. Like I'm looking at it right now. It's awesome. So thank you. Like as a grown ass man who's like near 40, I'm like, I'm like, I'll just take all this shit. Cause like it resonates with me. And I love that it resonates with my kids, even though they're not there yet to get it. But it's like, I'm looking forward to like when my daughter is cognitive enough to like understand the story of Star Wars, and I can show her, A New Hope, and then show her Empire, and get to the end with that Luke reveal, and to see what her reaction is going to be. Because I don't remember what my reaction was, because I watched it when I was so young.
Yeah.
I know what I'm getting you for a gift. I'm going to send you a giant box of Rancor poop and say, hey, this is from Star Wars. You like Star Wars, right? Here's some Rancor poop.
You know what? I've already had your cooking. I'm okay. Thank you.
Shit.
I said that if you had my cooking.
Back in the day, I had the scoop that the Mando was coming, that it was a show, and I knew the title and what the premise was. And the premise, as the show was pitched, wasn't Baby Grogu. The show was pitched as the restoration of Mandalore.
Oh,
that's what it was. It was like, that's what they were going for. And one piece of concept art had a little Baby Yoda in it, and all the Mandos all huddled around him. And I gotta say, when I'm seeing from the next season, there's more Mandalorians in season 3 of the show than I think we've ever seen in one shot at the same time. There's like 70. I know of at least 75.
Dang.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's wild.
So I think season 3 is going to be about finishing that idea, but I'm guessing that there's going to be a Grogu detour, if you will, or some sort of B story that kind of like puts him in.
Well, they're going to have to, but the question then becomes: are they going to do deep fake Luke Skywalker again, or are they going to cast somebody as the role?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you this, I don't want another. As much as I loved seeing Luke come back, that's a one-time thing in my mind. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be a one-time thing, because if you're going to bring it back again, then you're establishing a pattern with the audience, and they're going to come to expect it. And if it does, I mean, I know that Lucasfilm hired the guy who was able to do the better deep fakes on YouTube. So it's like, that's really cool to see. but at this, I still don't think like we're there yet. You know, like I remember with the whole Andrew Garfield they claimed that was a deep fake, you know, for like the Spider-Man No Way Home stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, like, and that just fucked with people. So I think it's, again, the uncanny valley is still there. And it's just, they need to actually bring in somebody. We'll have to see on that though. But H Bart's here, did drop $2 more. Thank you. He says, I got the real Grogu. Like in your pants?
I thought it, but I wasn't gonna say it because we have a guest, so I was good behave. But you know,
I think he means the devil's grass.
Oh, nice.
I don't know.
Nice. I don't know if it's legal, but you do get a couple questions here. Fandom Menace posting their L's. There's a good little Twitter account you should check out. Ask if you have any Kenobi scoops.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna have a lot of Kenobi stuff pretty soon coming on for the show.
So, and then and you're live every day
Mhm.
on your channel. So it's Making Star Wars here on YouTube.
Yeah, making StarWars.net, I think, on YouTube.
Okay, yeah. I think it's I forget like which one it's under.
Yeah.
And then you're on at always weird fucking times.
I usually do like 11 a.m. I usually do like around like my like lunch time, you know,
Okay.
my like lunch break. I try to get on and talk about Star Wars then. So yeah.
So,
and that's just, I mean, there's so much to that Kenobi show. And I feel like right now I'm feeling like it's the opposite of what Boba is in a weird way.
Well,
And
Deborah
I hope
Chow,
I'm right.
you know, like, I mean, Deborah Chow is what I'm waiting for, but also just quickly, I just want to, I don't know if any Kira news is also what H Bartz is wondering about. Cause there's been some questions.
Yeah. I once again, I don't want to claim to be like the end all be all know all of like Star Wars.
Yeah.
But two things, my sources on down there at Manhattan Beach, they know nothing of Kira and they know nothing of Harrison Ford.
Because I heard the Harrison
Han
Ford
Solo.
rumor. Yeah.
And not debunking. I'm just saying my people, they're like, I don't know anything about that. If they did that, I don't know anything about it.
Well, I'll tell you this though. My thing is I don't want Harrison Ford to come back either.
Yeah.
And I want it to be Alden Ehrenreich. Like, it's like, again, not that I don't want that. I would lose my shit like everybody else, but that final scene with him in Rise of Skywalker was as good of a closure as we're going to get.
Yeah.
And like the fact that I loved that scene, whatever my complaints are with the Rise of Skywalker, and I have many, that scene hits for me every single time. And that's a good closure. Because I remember in 2015 when I first saw The Force Awakens, when it was over, I cried. Like I walked out of the theater, I was waiting for the bus to pick me up with my girlfriend, and I just started crying because it hit me, you know. Because I'm also a sappy bitch, so I can admit that. But
That's
like
true.
seeing him come back again, and then having that redemption moment and that just connection moment. And again, playing into the cyclical nature of Star Wars with like the I love you, I know, but it having kind of a whole different meaning. I just thought it was really well done, and they kept it from everybody. It was a great little surprise. And you know, and so it's like, yeah, I think like they need to move past all that stuff. Like if you want to tie in Mando and all these other shows to, you know, the sequel trilogy, by all means do it, because I think that's what they're gonna have to do. But also, it's been a whole year since like anything involving any news on the Ahsoka series. And, you know, I think they start shooting on that pretty soon, but it's like, there's been nothing on Andor, you know, nothing on Kenobi, except now a rumored release date of May 4th.
Yeah. I was actually, don't want to overstate anything. I was told that stuff is really fluid still, and just don't believe anything.
Okay. That's so weird. Cause like they've been working on it for like a long time. So, I mean, but then again, I know Tony Gilroy was show running it from back in New York and not being there on set. So that can be a problem. And I'm just, you know, 12 episodes versus the normal 8.
Yeah. One thing that I heard recently was that Disney was going to be breaking up the 12-week run into 2 seasons because they don't want to do 12 weeks straight of the same show, of the same thing. They want to switch it up. So there won't be like a long wait. We're not gonna have to wait like a whole year for the next season, but they're supposedly spacing it out.
Okay. That makes sense. That actually would make a fair amount of sense, because then it would allow them to go, we've got 2 seasons of fucking of this show. And like I think that'd be pretty good because that's definitely something that I'm into. And then Simon here for $2 saying, Simon says hashtag release the Sebastian Stan cut.
Yeah, just cast him already.
Just cast him. You know, he already looks the part. And then H Bar just says, "Oh, he's like, I mean that replica I sent you a pic of last year." Oh, okay. I forgot about the replica. He's a.
There was a classic tweet when they made that when they put that out. Somebody responded to it, and they just asked, "How wide does its mouth open?" and
Wow.
I still remember. I still laugh about it. I think it was classic.
That's
Pretty
Well, you know, listen, leave it to Star Wars fans to put their dick in anything.
Oh no.
And that's where I'm ending that segment because that's been like literally like almost 50. I think it's been 50 minutes. I'll clip it out. It'll be its own thing. Well, no, that we had a bit of a chat before we dove into that, but that was a good combo. I had a lot of fun with that one. So we can quickly get into some other stuff here. Like for example, the Batman. 2 new posters dropped on that today. I'll tell you,
she's so gorgeous.
I'll tell you this though. This is something, Jason, you might get a kick out of. This shot right here of them on the rooftop. That's volume. That's the volume. That's yeah. They shot. They were, I think, the first feature film to use it outside of Star Wars for live action, and that particular shot of them on the rooftop was all done in that. So for me, like I am excited to see what happens with this particular story, just because, I mean, for one, I don't know how much of it they filmed using the volume technology, but I want to see how it looks on the big screen. And, you know, showing us what they did with Mando, especially in season 2 with the Crate Dragon. I think, you know, seeing it in IMAX is gonna be pretty wild.
Is this the volume that they have over at Pinewood now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because they put in like I think 4 volumes. At least Disney has 4. Now other. I think Netflix just bought a company that has one of their own. And I mean, I would assume in the next 5 years, this is going to be like, you know, your standard.
I've heard that they want to make 2 more down in Manhattan Beach.
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, you know, again, like looking at some of the studios, like Universal was probably going to convert a couple of their sound stages into that kind of stuff.
The poster on the left is throwing me off so bad because it's like the text is right near his eye, and that's where my focus is going. It looks so creepy.
He looks like a Cyclops, kind of sometimes.
Kind of. Well, according to the Watcher here, if you zoom in on Bruce's eye, you can see the Riddler logo. I'm not able to do that with PowerPoint, but I can see the outline of the green right there. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh no, you can see green in his pupil.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. But yeah, maybe that's why they have the Batman logo so close to his eye, so you could see that. Oh,
I just see Grogu.
I see Grogu. No, actually, now that you say that, that makes sense why the font is near his eyes, so it brings that focus to it. Because I'm like, his eyes freaking me out, but that makes sense.
Oh yeah, they're hyping up. They are absolutely hyping everything up. But the other news today came out of IMAX from Australia. Who talked about the film has a runtime of 176 minutes.
Bring a book.
Fuck that. I'm gonna watch the movie. You know. But so I mean, I don't know how true this is, but it does seem to make. I mean, look, I'll tell you this. If this is true and it's really 176 minutes, and that is without trailers, but that is just runtime with end credits. So you know, subtract out maybe like 12 minutes for end credits. That is longer than BVS, what BVS was in theaters, you know? And that's a big issue because a lot of people out there are going to kind of freak out on that because like they gave more of a runtime to this than they did BVS back in 2016.
Wow.
You know how some of those guys get.
Yep.
You know, and so because of that, you get a fair amount of crazies that are going to pop up. And that's actually kind of funny because it does kind of lead me to like the next thing I wanted to talk about here, which is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Once again, because it ties in. I think it ties in here. So this is a tweet that came out today from Tacky Box, which provides information on box office and it's in Spanish. But it says here, Zack Snyder's Justice League debuted with 3.13 million in the U.S. Blu-ray sales in its first week, September 6th through 12th, 2021. Compared to other recent DC movies, it falls well short of the 8.3 million that Wonder Woman in 1984 had, and 5.9 million that Birds of Prey had. And so, because again, if you talk to a lot of people who are fans of the Snyder Cut, they'll tell you it's a rip-roaring success, that it broke every record imaginable, and that it's absolutely positively going to get continued. The Snyderverse is going to be saved. You see, they say this all the time. But if you even look here, just at the numbers.com, this is where they're kind of pulling it from, showing that only 107,000 units sold. But in the first week, so September, the week ending in September 12th, 2021. Now, I wasn't able to find that particular graphic kind of showing you the breakdown, but to show you the breakdown of these movies sold, this is the week ending in September 25th, so 2 weeks later. But we can see here that DVD is 50%.
Really?
Blu-ray is 35.1%, and UHD is 13%. So like this is kind of standard. I think it's possible that, again, week to week, it really just depends on what comes out. But DVD, and this is in the United States, sells. It just sells. Like, they still sell. I don't get it. Like, I do not understand why people buy DVDs. But
Collections.
Well, I mean, sure, but it's like a Blu-ray is like $5 more, you know. And but I'll tell you this: it might boil down to the what's it called? Yeah, your quick purchase, right? What's it called? Like the you know, like when something's like cheap and you buy it pretty quickly, you don't care, you don't think about it.
Oh yeah, like you're like at like the drugstore or something. It's
Yeah,
like a
I don't know
stand.
why I can't think of what it is,
Yeah.
but you know,
Impulse buy.
Impulse buy. Thank you. Our impulse buy threshold is roughly $14.99. Anything under that, you can kind of argue. Anything above that, you kind of give a second thought to. And with Blu-rays costing $25 to $30 and DVDs being cheaper, and some DVDs now have the digital copy attached with them as well. So if you have the digital copy, what do you need the Blu-ray for?
Right.
So there's a fair amount of that. But we can see here that this is what it was like for just, you know, the week ending in September 25th, 2021. So we see that, you know, so it gives you an idea. But then you also get articles like this, you know, you get, you know, this is from Mikey Sutton over there at Geekosity, who's a friend. I'm just using this as an example, but you know, he's been running around for a while now saying that, that the Snyderverse isn't going to be erased, that the Discovery merger is going to be what brings it back. Right. Well, there's a problem with that because we have a bit of information that has come out in the last couple of days telling us exactly what happens to people who work with Time Warner and now AT&T properties once a merger takes place. Have you guys ever heard of a show called Adam Ruins Everything?
Yeah.
Oh no, but I've seen the clip you're talking about.
Yes, yeah, you did retweet it today. So Adam Ruins Everything is a show that was on True TV, which was owned by Time Warner, and in you know, leading up to the release, or to the AT&T buyout back in 2018, you had Adam Ruins Everything. You had Impractical Jokers. You had Billy on the Street, which is a good show, and a bunch of these other shows that were just kind of like, it was a smaller, but it was a semi-thriving channel. It was a decent network.
Yeah.
Then AT&T came in and took over, and well, Adam breaks it down. This is a very intriguing clip.
People are always asking me this, what exactly happened to Adam Ruins Everything? Happy to tell that story, but it is a little bit weird. So I made Adam Ruins Everything for close to 5 years for True TV, and we were a hit for that network. We were the second biggest show they had, depending on how you crunch the numbers. That Carbonaro guy did pretty good too, but we did really, really well. So why would they want to end the show? Well, here's what happened. In 2018, the giant phone company AT&T bought Time Warner, True TV's parent company. And when they did that, they did what they always do every time there's a big mega merger. They laid a ton of people off. 100 people were fired from True TV, including the head of the network, the vice head of the network, the entire programming department, the entire marketing department, basically everyone in the entire building was let go. And then they started canceling shows to cut costs. So the writing was on the wall, so we figured, hey, this is probably going to be our last contract. So we turned our season finale into a series finale, and we did a big, badass final episode that tied everything up in a bow. It was super meta. It talked about our relationship with the network and with advertisers. I'm really proud of that episode, and you can still see it on HBO Max. And about a month after it aired, sure enough, they called me up and they said, hey, Adam, just so you know, we're not picking up more Adam Ruins Everything. And I was like, yeah, thank you. I figured that out. Don't worry about it. See y'all later. I'm doing fine, by the way. I'm doing a new show for Netflix called The G Word that's going to be out later this year. But I think what this illustrates is how bad mergers between mega corporations really are. Because think about this. Not only did 100 people lose their jobs, it also turned what used to be an awesome, thriving TV network into a graveyard that just airs old Impractical Jokers reruns. No shade to the Jokers, though. I'm still Team Sal. The problem is, when two big companies merge into one, there's less competition. And less competition means less jobs for us to go around, and less options for us in the media. So if you want to know what killed Adam Ruins Everything, monopoly capitalism did. That's the murderer.
So it gives you a solid idea
Amen.
of how this whole thing played out. And looking into it, by the way, he mentioned 100 people lost over there at True TV. And looking into it now, in the time since the merger, over 15,000 people have lost their jobs.
Wow.
And what he's talking about there is this is what's going to happen when Discovery takes over Warner Brothers and they become Warner Brothers Discovery, or Warner, whatever the fuck it is they're going to call themselves. And so really what that boils down to here, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think people out there need to really realize this, is that the Snyder Cut is a cul-de-sac, because they're not going to invest that kind of money into these properties for a while unless there is some kind of massive financial return. The Snyder Cut, as we saw, did not do that for its first week of DVD sales. Now, people out there have tried to argue with me on social media about this today by saying, well, it was available in the UK overseas first, so people were just importing the movie here. Well, yeah, but how were millions of people importing the Snyder Cut over to the US? No, they weren't. I have an imported copy because HBarts was very generous enough to send me a 4K from the UK. So thank you for that, HBarts. And I love the fucking movie, but the reality of it is that it just didn't sell. There were people out there that were artificially hyping it up when the movie came out on, here in the States, because they were like, oh, it's it's being, this is flying off store shelves in regards to everything in, Walmart, Target, Kmart, things like that. But at the same time, as we come to find out, those stores were putting less and less stock on shelves. And so they would just replenish it once it was empty. And so that's not to say that, as we saw, only 107,000 units moved in the first week. And I think a lot of those were the diehard fans. Now, I don't know what it's been outside of the United States, but this is a predominant market. This is the market,
It's kind of a weird thing to me. Like, I was just thinking about this right now, because honestly, I couldn't even finish it. I just didn't care enough to finish it. I know, guys.
You're missing out. I will say, it's like the climax is solid.
Okay.
Like, the movie is really solid. But it is
I
long.
know I
but it
need
is
to.
long.
I know. I need to. I mean, just so I
streamed
know.
it for 4 hours. I had to take breaks. And no, it is long, but I'm telling you, it was, like I said, I had just come into the whole Snyder stuff. So I saw the first Justice League, and I was like, okay, that wasn't too bad. And everyone's like, okay, now watch the Snyder Cut. And then I watched it. I was like, wow, this is like a completely different movie to me, because there is so much more context that was not there in the first one. And it really opened the story up a little more. So I'd say, yeah, 4 hours is long, but it was worth the watch.
But what I was going to say was, with, like, if Mando was coming out today on 4K, I probably wouldn't buy it. I probably wouldn't. It's on Disney Plus, like, and that's how I kind of feel about that stuff too. And I'm wondering, at what point does that become normal for the market to not own, physical stuff? Not to get into that conversation necessarily, but when it comes down to like what I know I'm going to be subscribed to HBO Max like forever, and Disney Plus. So I don't think I would buy anything that's usually on there. Is kind of where I'm going with it.
I would, well, see, I'm different on that one. If they release Mando in 4K UHD and I could get it, oh my God, heartbeat. Because as much as I love watching it on Disney Plus, I have issues with 4K UHD on my Roku television, and I can watch it on my Samsung just fine, and I do predominantly.
Same.
But it's like, but I also want to have the uncompressed 60 gigabyte file as playing on a player that is dedicated for that. Because, like, even James Gunn was talking about people buying the Suicide Squad on 4K. And he's like, look, you can stream it on HBO Max, which is great. But if you want to get the actual quality, like the compression rates for streaming 4K is just still pretty terrible because
Yeah.
we have a lot of infrastructure problems here in the United States when it comes to broadband. At least now I feel like with this new infrastructure bill that should be helping out on that front a little bit. H-Reds here real quick says here, it's like region free player. I say get one only if you do a lot of imports. Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, H-Barts is really big into physical media. So like he's a person I talk to about all that. But I still feel like if they did release this kind of stuff, I would buy it. But I understand why they don't want to, which is they want people to subscribe to Disney Plus. I mean, dude, I don't know how many kids you got. You have 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have 2. I have 2 as well. Like we ain't ever getting rid of fucking Disney Plus. Right. It ain't ever going anywhere. It's always going to be there.
I own Star Wars in 4K. I watched it once. I watched it on Disney Plus. My lazy ass just goes right to Disney Plus every time instead of putting the disc in.
Okay.
So the way it washes out for me.
Sure. I mean, but that is also kind of where we found ourselves in regards to all this. Now, I will say when it comes to the Snyder Cut, what angers me, it frustrates me, is that they never gave us any of the data. All we really have to go on is like the Samba TV numbers, and that is not reliable. It gives you a snapshot of a small percentage of people, you know. And then, even Zack is like Samba TV, whoever the hell they are, at one point. And so that's about it. But HBO Max has never given any of the numbers, none of them ever to even Zack, according to him. But I always like to go back when I talk about physical media. There was a line that Paul Feig had said when Ghostbusters 2016 was coming out on home video. And he made a plea to the fans. He's like, if you want to see a sequel, I'm calling on all the Holtzman fans to go out and buy the movie. And he specifically said Holtzman, so Kate McKinnon's character. And I'm thinking to myself, like, why? Is it because she was the best received character in that movie? Maybe. Is she really popular on SNL? Maybe. Or at the time, IDW was working on a series of comic books about connecting Ghostbusters 2016 to Ghostbusters 1984 and having it be Holtzman who crosses over into the different universe. Which is what I think the sequel for Ghostbusters 2016, if it ever was going to happen, would have been that. And I think that's what they were pushing for, is making Holtzman the main character.
Right.
So, I mean, but home video and home video sales can do a lot. But as we've seen now, I mean, the home video market is still predominantly DVD. Okay. And even though Blu-rays are plentiful, I mean, that still drives me up the wall to see that number. But obviously with Snyder Cut didn't do very well and on that front. And then looking at what Adam says, and if you've ever seen Adam Ruins Everything, it's a very fact-based, data-driven program, that talks about a wide variety of things, like why you should never tip, and gives good reasons why you should never tip in the United States. But as a person who relies on tips, disregard that episode. There's an episode that's all about like why wine drinkers are full of shit, like wine connoisseurs are full of shit. Why the diamond engagement ring market is simply just a racket. I mean, it's a really, really well done show. And it's one of my all-time favorites. And so, so when he's talking about this is something that he knows personally and firsthand.
I like all wine, so I agree with him.
Well, there you go. There you go. King of Golden State here says, I just walked in and we talked about how disappointing Book of Boba Fett is yet. Yeah, we already did for like an hour. So if like for an hour, dude.
$5 tip, just rewind.
We'll rewind. Yeah.
Very late in the game.
Yeah, but it's okay that I'm going to clip out that whole segment and it's going to be up on whatever it's called, HBO.
I'm so excited because I remember I came in the back. He's like, Saggy's here. She might derail. I was like, no, I don't want to derail. I genuinely want to talk about Boba Fett. I think that threw Matt off a little bit because he knows me well. He's like, I'm gonna wait to get through this segment because I know Saggy's gonna complete. No, I want to talk about Boba Fett. I've been watching it.
Yeah, no, it's
and because of the conversation, damn it, I actually enjoyed it, and I was like, yeah, I could finally have us be on the $3 theater without yelling or screaming about something. I actually enjoy something, guys. Imagine that.
How accurate is that? Was that news story from like a week or two ago about Batman that it's based on Kurt Cobain's and Last Days to some extent?
That's dark.
I heard about that, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know anymore, man. I can never tell.
Because
so
that might explain that actual runtime. Because The Last Days is, I love the movie, but it's slow. It's very, very much like in the moment kind of filmmaking. If you've ever seen it. And,
No, I haven't. I haven't.
yeah.
But and I live like only 40 minutes away from Aberdeen, where he grew up.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
You know what? I like the movie. It's a bad Kurt Cobain movie, honestly. It really is. It's like Kurt Cobain didn't put on a dress and crawl around on the floor putting makeup on and being weird like he did on stage. It's like two different things, and it treats them as if there's no difference.
That
But
you know of.
that I know of, yeah. But
We know what he did behind closed doors. I don't judge.
yeah, I know I wouldn't judge either. But it was yeah. It's a good movie for what it is, though.
Cocaine's a hell of a
Okay.
drug.
Well, there was speaking of the Robert Pattinson did give an interview where he's like, I was joking about that not working out thing, and he's like, that one came back to haunt me. Because a lot of people, like, especially like the fandom menace types, they ran with that. They were like, he's not working out. He doesn't care about being Batman. Like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, the dude's gonna work out. Like, and then in any case, how often are you gonna see him without a fucking shirt on? You know, like, not often, probably.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to Robert Pattinson going from Twilight to the Batman. Like, good for you, dude. You really turned it around.
Well,
Yeah,
there was
I'm proud of him.
There was also 10 years in between that, by the way.
True.
Yeah, but it's like, you know
know.
how, like, what happened to what's his face? Taylor Lautner. Like, his career's gone.
Well, Lautner tried chasing the teeny bopper crowd, I think. He did a couple of little movies here and there. But the thing is, Pattinson was always an actor. He's an actor, you know, like a legit actor. And he has thrown himself into these like smaller, more nuanced, avant-garde art house roles that have just allowed him to really kind of formulate and hone his skills.
Mm-hmm.
And he's built up this fan base of people that probably came. I mean, look, are people going to rush out who are Twihards to watch this movie? Yeah, they are. I mean, it's going to happen, you know. But at the same time, it's like he's earned the chops to be able to do this. And I'm very curious to see. Also, I mean, dude, fucking Matt Reeves is like a fantastic director. So I cannot wait to see what happens with this. Andy Serkis's Alfred's going to be very interesting. Because, you know, again, Matt Reeves and Serkis did well together on the final two Apes movies. And those ones I need to rewatch. So, you know, and then Paul Dano as the Riddler, like how fucked up is that going to be?
Yeah, no, I actually am really interested. Like, I'm sick of Batman movies, but I probably watch it because I do want to see how well he does. Because I was shocked to see him in that other movie, that everyone was talking about that I personally thought sucked. What the heck was it?
The Lighthouse?
No. It was like a weird Inception-y kind of movie.
Oh, Tenet.
Yes, Tenet, that one. I tried to watch Tenet, and I didn't like it, but I
haven't watched it.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It was weird. I was trying really hard, and I was like, I don't understand what they're doing. But when I saw that, I was like, is that Robert Pattinson? What? I was like, he's in this? I was like, I haven't seen him since Twilight, and I was actually
good in it. He was really good in it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good in Tenet. I liked him in Tenet, even though I didn't like the movie. I was like, wow. And for him to be Batman, that's a big jump. And it is going to be interesting. I prefer him as a Terry McGinnis, but I'll take him as Batman, whatever. Bruce Wayne, whatever.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how all that plays out. But I figure before we dive into the final thing here, because there is another piece of Robert Pattinson information today. There's a couple quick news bits to go over. Just because I meant to get to those first. For one, today I thought this was funny. Jason Kilar was in Seattle checking out the new Wonder Woman game, and he took some shots of Pike Place, of Pike Place Market and things like that, which is right in downtown Seattle. And so I said, "Hey, I'm only an hour south. Do you want to grab a beer?" Right? So this is why it's funny, because he liked it.
Ooh.
And then he unliked it, but he liked it and then he unliked it. I'm like, oh man, if Jason Kilar would have been like, yeah, sure. Do you want to get a beer? I would be like, fuck, I'm dropping everything. I'm dropping literally everything. Yeah. I'm just going to jump in the car. I'm going to drive to Seattle. Like I will, I drive a Kia Soul. I'll get there fucking quick. Because no one ever expects the Kia Soul to do anything. So they underestimate it constantly. And I'd get the hell up there. But I thought that was really funny today. Also, we got the first look at Gamora getting makeup for Guardians Volume 3.
Baby Grogu's mom.
Wait, how though?
How what?
How?
How what?
You know what?
How is she alive?
Yeah.
Because her 2014 counterpart was still alive. Did you watch the movie?
I must have missed a part. I don't know.
She died in Infinity War, and then in Endgame, Thanos used the quantum realm, the Pym particles, to bring the fleet from 2014 into 2023.
Oh,
And so it was Gamora before they had formed the Guardians.
So this is so we're gonna get a Gamora before she even met them. So that's gonna be awkward.
So this is going to be like angry Gamora and not like, hey Peter, put your quill in me, Gamora. You know?
Why did I forget that part?
I don't know. It was kind of a big plot point of the film.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. How did I miss that?
That's kind of frightening.
Excuse to
rewatch it.
rewatch, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know how I missed that part. Because I'm like, last I remember, she was dead, and I was like, oh, how did I miss that?
Yeah, even King of Golden State here is giving you shit.
I
Catch
know.
up,
I
Saggy.
know it's not that I caught up. I just missed it. Apparently, I don't even know why I missed that. That's like a big factor.
That's a big thing here. But also, King of Golden State does ask, who's more likely to show up in one of the last 3 episodes of Book of Boba Fett, Maul, Kira, or Doc Aphra? Well, Maul is dead officially at this point in time.
Okay, he's dead. There's no time travel thing.
Yeah, and I mean, given the Wookiee, which has ties to Doc Aphra, it could be. I mean, and people have speculated that like the Acolyte has something to do with that, but no, it's the timing is way different.
Yeah, and Aphra has as much to do with him as in some ways Boba Fett does, and Boba Fett runs into him, doesn't even know him anymore from the comic book. So, you know what I mean? He's like, he knows he was a gladiator. That's all that he acknowledges. So I'm not even sure if I believe in the comic books even mattering at this point.
I don't think they do. I know the books do, but I don't think the comics do. I think the comics are just kind of there, like as a you know. I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah.
But I look. I think Kira again. Like, there's been rumors about that where she's the one leading the Pikes for Crimson Dawn, and there was a rumor that Cad Bane was with her, and we get to see Cad Bane versus Boba.
But that whole leak was fake.
Yeah. Oh no, it felt fake as fuck. I'm just saying, it felt too good to be true. Like, I read that, I'm like, I don't believe this. But if you give me Cad Bane in live action, I will birthday Filoni's children. Dude,
I just want that post credits Mace Windu's alive scene. That's what I want. That's what I'm holding out for.
That's an odd one to hold out for, but I think we're gonna have to wait and see on that one. I mean, look, I wouldn't put it past them to keep Mace Windu alive.
Why not at this point? Everybody else who got thrown down a hole is alive. Why wouldn't Mace, fall, and like Anakin falling down Coruscant, no problem. Mace Windu does it one-handed. So maybe,
Yeah, he meets the modders, right? They put a new arm on him.
Yeah, maybe that's a hook.
They trick him out, he's got the purple lightsaber. He's all pissed off. He's hunting him down. Yeah, that could be a thing.
Yeah, give him a Fu Manchu. Take him in the future.
Sure, yeah.
That's his disguise. Fu Manchu.
Nobody super racially insensitive, right? It's like, hold on, who are you trying to be? He's like, I'm part of the Trade Federation.
He's like, I'm like that guy from the end of Neverending Story. Remember in the castle? I'm that guy now. Don't kill me.
You may not know it, but this is a long time ago, but your kids are gonna love it. No, they're not. No, they are. They are.
Bring it back. It's time.
All right, let's keep going forward here. So here's the thing that popped up yesterday that I didn't get the chance to talk about. Did you see this here, that Aquaman 2 and Avatar 2 are both scheduled for release on the same day?
What? Who messed up on that?
Well, see, here's the thing with that, right? Is Aquaman did $1 billion in December of 2018 up against Mary Poppins and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and Bumblebee. And, only one of those movies was good, which was Spider-Man. And but it did really well in China. And Avatar, just came back out last year and reclaimed the top spot after its re-release in China. So I again, and Jason, I don't know if you agree, disagree with me on this one, but you don't fuck with James Cameron.
No, I wouldn't. I think in a weird way, they may both lose out in this kind of standoff. I mean, if both movies are successful, they're both just going to eat into each other at it, or somebody takes all.
I
don't know. It doesn't seem smart to me.
I feel like Aquaman might beat Avatar too, only because it's been so long and like
In the
I,
States, I think it will.
right. I don't know. I think Aquaman would beat Avatar on that date because right now DC's kind of hot with the fandom, and like I said, Avatar it's so long since the first. When was the first one dropped? Like way like decade ago, or at least.
December 17th, 2009,
Right. So
I
it's
think,
like it's
or
been a
19th.
while,
Yeah.
and I don't think Avatar 2 hype is going to be that great for people who haven't seen the first one, first of all.
Well, I'm telling you right now, when they start the hype machine for Avatar, it's gonna fucking happen. All
You
right,
think
like
so?
people, look, if one thing being in and around movies has taught me, it's do not fuck with James Cameron. Like James Cameron knows how to bring it. He would not have waited all this time if he did not know how to bring it. If he was not figuring out something new. They keep in mind they took a long time just to write the 4 screenplays. And so it
Yeah.
wasn't just writing like one movie and then whatever from there. This was like literally like writing 4 screenplays in order to make it all tie in together. And then also to go and shoot. They shot all the digital stuff, all the underwater stuff in LA for like 6 months. They shot 2 films, Avatar 2 and Avatar 3 or 3.
I saw those people everywhere.
Yeah.
The Star Wars people and them, they were like one and the same practically.
Oh yeah.
So my thing with Avatar 1 is I think the reason why Avatar 1 was so good and hyped up as much as it was because it was visually stunning. And the story was very interesting and it was like it had a lot going on. But like I said, that was in like 2009. So it was like the first movie that really did something, in my opinion, that was like wicked different and original. Like, so after that, like I said, so much time has gone by where you have so many movies that obviously like some of them try to kind of go down that same avatarish route with the beautiful visuals and stuff. And it's like I said, I feel like only real fans that remember Avatar 1 from when it first came out would really be excited and hyped for this. Whereas like Aquaman and DC has been like a huge thing right now. It's like the hottest thing. This is the age of the superhero movies. And also like the nostalgia thing. So I think maybe Avatar 2 could be playing that like nostalgia factor, but it's the second movie. So it's not like it's Ghostbusters or all these other franchises that have been out. It was the first movie. If it was a franchise, I can see this being like the big hype of like the most anticipated movie coming out. But it's the second of this franchise, so I don't see it really hitting as hard as Aquaman, unfortunately.
Well, let me put it to you like this though, and this is how I kind of explain it to people. Do you remember seeing Avatar in theater?
No, when did I see Avatar? I don't think I saw it in theater.
Okay, because I mean, like the thing is though, for it to make the money that it made box office wise, people saw it in theaters, you know, and that movie was an experience. It's not just at the time I saw it in 3D IMAX.
I was gonna say, was it in 3D?
It was 3D IMAX was just like stellar. And like even my dad, who is like doesn't really, the last movie in theaters I think he went to go see was when I took him to see Rise of Skywalker, you know, and the thing with that is like he saw Avatar in IMAX 3 times.
My dad too. My dad watches that shit on like TBS and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm like, what are you doing? What you own it in 3D, man? And he's just like, oh, just like it's just on.
Yeah,
but that's where people are watching it.
They are, and but it's also like the people who saw it in theaters, those who kept going back time and time and time again. It's the experience, and that experience is what you're going to remember. And if they can tap into that in the marketing, game fucking over. If they can tap into like, do you remember the first time you saw Pandora? You know, and then like it opens wide on like.
He's gotta use a movie voice every time.
Right? Yeah, you know, but I mean, you bring up the music, right? You bring up the music, you fucking drop the Paprius font, right? You know,
Robert, just how about I have a challenge for you. You need to make this a thing now. Since you got the movie voice, if you find time, can you just make like a parody-ish like teaser trailer thing like that with that voice you did with some music and just be like, this is how it should be. I would love to see you do like a movie trailer with that voice. You got to do it.
I need to get into voice acting because even though I talk for a living, I'm not doing that. But what I mean by that is all they have to do is tap into that experience, and it's been so long, it's gonna feel nostalgic, you know. And nostalgia's crack cocaine to some of these people, right? So all they got to do is just like, and look, this is what we're talking about here is fucking Disney marketing tackling a James Cameron movie. the most popular and profitable, I would say the most profitable movie of all time that is massively popular at Walt Disney World. There's not only that, but a new game is coming out from Massive Studio, the company behind The Division and The Division 2.
And it sounds amazing.
Yeah, and they're also doing a new Star Wars game as well. So like they've branched out with them. So they're doing a bunch of Avatar tie-ins. And also there was a video game that came out in 2009 for Avatar that was surprisingly good. So there was a lot about Avatar. People like to bug on it, right? I watched it again not too long ago on Disney Plus. The movie gives you all the setup literally in the first 18 minutes. 18 minutes into that movie, Jake Sully's in an Avatar and he's exploring Na'vi. Right? Or exploring Pandora. So the whole point as a Na'vi, the whole point though is like Cameron knew how to give you 15 minutes of setup. Here are the key players. Here's the world. Here's the conflict. Here's what they're getting. Go. That's it.
Do you think if it connects, it'll revitalize 3D?
I hope so.
I'm hoping that what it does is I'm hoping it doesn't revitalize 3D because the thing with Avatar is like, and the reason why there was that craze for 3D for like a number of years was because of Avatar. Avatar equated, if I recall correctly, like 79% of all 3D ticket sales in the year 2010. The movie came out in 2009, at the end of 2009, but so many people saw it in 3D. This is why all the companies jumped on it.
But it was made specifically for 3D. That's why it was amazing too, because it was specifically made. That's why it was the visuals were the way they were, is because it was specifically made to be watched in 3D. I think they should do that again, to be honest, because that's what made the first Avatar, like you said, the first Avatar experience you saw in 3D. Why wouldn't you do it again? Because that would be something that nobody's doing anymore. And if people do remember that experience that you had when you saw it in theaters for the first time, that would 100% pull them away from Aquaman. But that's why I said it's kind of
Aquaman's gonna move. It's gonna drop to 2023, or what they might do if they're smart, and they should do this, move Aquaman up to November 4th, move the Flash to 2023.
No, stop moving movies close to my birthday because I never get to go see them.
No, because here's the thing with the Flash is the Flash has no hype. Even though there was that announcement today for like that prequel comic, there's like no hype for the Flash. Even with Keaton, I don't think anyone really cares. But Aquaman,
I care about that. I care about Keaton.
I do also care about Keaton.
Well, Batgirl's going to be coming out. Yeah. Well, I mean, look, the thing is, like, the Flash is going to come out at the end of the beginning of November. Batgirl is supposedly coming out like Christmas on HBO Max. The two are kind of congruent to kind of come out in order. Mm-hmm. So I get that. So Aquaman might have to take a hit and might have to move. Besides, releasing the Flash in November and Aquaman in December, that is like realizing that your one movie is not going to profit very well, but it's going to act as a slingshot for the other one effectively,? And so it's like, I don't know, man. Like look, Warner Brothers is not going to be in a spot where they're going to want to fuck with something like that. Avatar is going to, because they've already announced Avatar is going to have 2022, 2024, 2026. Those are the dates for Avatar.
Yeah.
Those are the already locked in place dates for Avatar, and Star Wars is going to run concurrently with that. So it's like Disney's just telling everyone, get the fuck out the way. They're already telling you, like, just get the fuck out the way. And we've already seen with Disney and this kind of money, like once the Disney marketing machine kicks in for Avatar, like I said, it's done. It's done. Like because I see like, HRS here for $2 says, without fan bias, if Avatar 2 bombs, what happens? They'll put out the third one because it's still slated to come out and it will be done, but the fourth and fifth won't be shot. They'll just make it a trilogy and they'll probably cap it. I'm pretty sure they're writing for that as well. I'm pretty sure they're figuring out a way to end the arc with that and then go from there.
Well, they can take another 20 years for each movie to make.
Sure, maybe. No, I mean Cameron's already prepping everything, and he already has enough money that he could just probably fund it himself. And then HBarts here also says Avatar digital effects are amazing, but video games already used it. Well, that's kind of the whole point, though. Is Cameron has always been ahead of the curve on visual technology. He's always been the person to look at. I mean, go back, look at Aliens, how he did Aliens. Then you look at The Abyss. You look at fucking Terminator 2. True Lies, not so much, but I mean, it wasn't meant to be a special effects extravaganza. Look at fucking Titanic. 11 goddamn Oscars.
I laughed at Titanic before it came out. I thought, what, James Cameron, what are you doing, you big dummy? And I laughed at it.
Good movie.
No, obviously. I mean, I went and saw it and I was like, this is a great movie. But like that's what he was saying. you don't laugh. You don't laugh at Cameron. You don't go up against him. You know,
I do like
no,
James Cameron.
You
movies.
usually end up, it's a mistake.
I feel like Terminator Dark Fate would have probably done better had it like come out many years ago. I liked Terminator Dark Fate. Like I've actually really defended that movie. I think that was shut up. There's a lot of people that attacked Terminator Dark Fate because the leak came out early. Like they didn't want to. The people who don't want nostalgic change. People who want to hold on. Like, what do you mean John Connor died? Spoiler: it's been like 3 years and like no one cares.
That was great. I love that.
I thought it was great. It's all like, oh shit, because you're telling me that Skynet would send back just one.
Y'all are the devil in the chat.
Right? So, H-Bar's release a Blu-ray of True Lies. Goddamn right. I know True Lies greater than Titanic. No, True Lies is James Cameron's probably best original film. Even above Terminator. Terminator was still a technological marvel for like what they had, the budget that they had back in the day. So anyway, and I know Peacemaker dropped. We still got a couple of quick things to talk about. But yeah, anyway, I'm excited. I think Avatar 2 is going to do well. I see people in the chat, they disbelieve. Don't y'all a bunch of young whippersnappers. All right. Like
that's why I don't think it's gonna do as well as Aquaman, because they're all whippersnappers. They don't remember Avatar 1.
I'm telling you, look, the thing is, but also Cameron wasn't plotting for a pandemic. So who knows where we're going to be? Who knows where we're going to be in that time, but once we see a trailer, interest is going to kick in. Once they start making a heavy push again, they're going to re-release it in cinemas, maybe an enhanced version of it. Maybe they're going to have 3D without the fucking glasses, because that's been rumored for a while.
They need baby avatars or baby Navis. That'll really sell.
They have Jake and Natiri have children.
Exactly,
in this movie.
baby Navis.
So,
yeah, baby Navis.
But how does that work? Because they put their tails together, and like that's them fucking, right? But like, does like the baby come out of the tail?
Avatar, though? Isn't he not a real one?
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, right. Like, they were grown, but does it have a sperm?
Wait, hold on. Pause. No, that's not my issue. It's like, but isn't his body not a real biological Navi? So how could he reproduce with
it's an avatar. I mean, it's definitely a biological Navi, but it's like a clone.
Yeah, it's like a clone.
It's like a clone. Yeah.
Oh, so it's still like biologically.
So, but here's my question though: what's it a clone of? What if it's a clone of Natiri's like brother or something?
Ooh, that's creepy.
Right?
Like a derpy Navi comes out and it's like, yeah, my daddy. Like Jar Jar. Blue Jar Jar. I'd watch it.
Misa want to ride the dragon. Yeah, Misa don't know.
There you go. That's gonna be the cutout point for that particular gag right there. All right. And then also we got The Boys Diabolical. This looks pretty. Did you see this trailer? This little teaser?
I haven't seen it yet.
It looks like I don't want to show it because they get a little crazy sometimes. Yeah. But it's basically like it's like, think of old like kind of like Looney Tune human cartoons, right? Mm-hmm. Like the baby is, it's very stylistic. So it says here, we find out more. All 8 episodes drop on March 4th. They are 12 minutes each. Some of the episodes are canon, so tying into The Boys in season 2 and season 3.
Wait, some?
Well, yeah, some episodes are canon. Each episode is a different animation style. So that's going to be interesting. But look at the writers: Seth Rogen, Awkwafina, Justin Roiland, Andy Samberg, Aisha Tyler, Evan Goldberg, and the Invincible showrunners.
That's cool.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Because I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with that.
I haven't seen The Boys, but yeah.
You're fucking missing out.
I know
You're
I am.
Fucking missing out.
I've heard. I'll get to it.
It's like a really good, just like it's Saturday and it's raining and you can not going anywhere. Just watch it. You'll have.
What's it on?
Amazon.
That's why I haven't seen it.
And each season is like 8 episodes, and they're like super dark, super violent, super fucking funny.
Yeah, that's why I haven't seen The Boys, because I don't have Amazon Prime.
Yeah, we'll talk to RJ. He'll hook you up.
Yeah, he's got everything. Jeez.
He's got everything. Yeah, he'll give you the login info. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this here because I love The Boys, and Amazon is clearly banking on that being its big thing, one of its big things, because there's a lot going on with that. And then also, this is another one that came out today. This makes me only want to see Pam and Tommy even more.
Yes.
Is that Jason Mantzoukas has been cast as Tommy Lee's penis in Pam and Tommy for Hulu?
Oh my god, yes, I love Jason Mantzoukas. I love him. He's my favorite person in the universe.
I mean, if you ever want to see him talk about sex, watch the show Big Mouth.
Dude, I seen him on he was on Big Mouth, and then he was on Nailed It. He's a frequent guest. They love him there, but I love seeing him as a panelist on Nailed It. Even though I'm not a big fan of the show, like it can be funny, but when Jason's on, I love Jason Mantzoukas. He is freaking hilarious.
Well, what cracks me up is he's got a brief cameo in Wreck-It Ralph 2
Does he?
as the guy who asks Groot a question.
Oh, that's funny.
So it's like I'm just listening. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing there? Because I was just watching, like, right around the same time that came out. I think like one of the seasons of the Big Mouth had just came out or something. I'm just like, it's so weird. It's so weird how these actors will go on and do some of the most raunchiest shit ever, but then they're just all of a sudden on a Disney show.
Oh my god, I know. I that stuff makes me laugh, and especially since Disney has this weird clause with their like actors that no scandals or anything, but you allow people who say the most. Have you seen him, Jason in Big Mouth? Like he is raunchy as hell on that show. Have you seen him in The Good Place though? He actually did live action. He was in The Good Place.
Yeah, I like The Good Place. Good Place is really solid.
Yeah, The Good Place was a really good show. I
well,
liked it.
I think it's also like I think they figured that the primary demographic of people watching Wreck-It Ralph 2 are not going to watch Big Mouth. To which case I say, you're all fucking stupid because there's a large overlap. You know, like a lot of people who watch Disney movies are adults.
Yes, but Jason Mantzoukas, I love you. Call me.
Sure. I'll let him know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate you. Holla at
We'll,
you.
we'll start a tweet campaign for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Notice
Yeah.
me.
Notice me, senpai.
Yeah.
And then I think this is the last snapshot I grabbed here. But Bong Joon-ho's next film, starring Robert Pattinson, it was going to be an adaptation of Mickey 7, which is about a disposable employee sent on suicidal missions to colonize the ice world Nephilim. After one iteration dies, a new body is regenerated with most of his memories intact.
What?
That's going to be kind of weird. So it's like Amazon.
Why is that picture of Robert there? Is that the picture from the project?
No, that's just a picture that they found and they decided to put on the tweet.
Oh god, that just looks so cringe.
It's like, what's up, guys?
It's like he has like the haircut of like an old 70s rock star, the jacket of like something that he found in Michael Jackson's closet, and then the undershirt, I don't know what the heck that is. Is that like does that have like, no, it doesn't have ruffles. And then he's just got the beard between his legs like a friggin' redneck. I don't understand there's too much going on with this look.
It's like a glam guy's rough night, I guess.
Right. It's like he went to the South as a fancy man and came out a redneck. I just don't understand.
Clearly, neither of you have ever seen The Lighthouse.
I haven't seen it.
No.
I'll tell you this, though. I always find it really funny that he was in a movie called Remember Me, which like the end of the movie ended with him and Pierce Brosnan in Pierce Brosnan's office in like the World Trade Center on 9/11. And it just pans out like as the plane is coming in. I was like, wow, like, okay. You know, like that was, was not expecting that one.
Yeah.
Was not expecting that, but no, apparently he's done good. I mean, you know, people out there have, you know, enjoyed his work. So there's that.
Okay, King. I'll give that to you, King.
Right, so
not Michael Jackson, Prince. Okay,
there we go. I had to go through the rest of my slides because I had them there. All right. So Lord of the Rings, to chronicle the rise of Sauron, which is gonna be dope, right? Now you guys all saw this trailer, right?
I have not. I haven't seen anything Lord of the Rings since The Hobbit.
All right. So this is the teaser they put out today, and my God, is it amazing.
For the Elven Kings, under the sky. 7 for the Dwarf Lords, in their halls of stone. 9 for mortal men, doomed to die. 1 for the Dark Lord, on his dark throne, in the land of Mordor, where the shadows lie.
just saw some like lava. Wow. Oh, I'm
That
so
wasn't
excited for lava.
that wasn't lava, Saggy.
What the heck was it then?
That was metal, right? But that was
Oh.
like it was, clearly showing us the forging of the rings, and then giving us.
Oh, is that what that was?
That was
I thought it was Frodo vaping. Okay.
Well, I mean, again,
lava.
this is Amazon. Anything could happen. But really, what that was is something there that I thought was just dope as all hell. I thought it looked amazing, right? The way that was shot. Well, apparently some people out there didn't care for it. So you kind of have your usual suspects here. You have Heel versus Babyface saying, "Geez, how cheap can this look?" Right? Saying that was all cheap. And then Nerderotic here says, "Looks like a teaser for your game you play on your phone." Oh, that's a great line. Critical Drinker 2, as some have said, is better than Roger Ebert, which is a lie. Says, well, this gave us absolutely nothing apart from a CG title sequence. Now, I love this. I love this stuff because this is the whole thing with these guys is they immediately run to it. They immediately shit on everything because they're kind of, I don't know, like kind of effing stupid. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of dumb because Amazon decided that they wanted to put out a making of. Did you guys hear about this at all?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So everything we just saw was practical.
See, it was lava. Tell me it wasn't lava.
So yeah, I mean, again, calling it out, saying that it's just terrible CG, it's terrible everything. It's a fucking fallacy. It's an absolute
I
fucking
can
lie.
agree after seeing that how they made it. Yeah, I mean, I still think the trailer or the teaser was kind of like meh, but when you see how they did it, like that's cool. That's cool. That it was actually real, like melted, like whatever they melted.
Yeah, should they just have done it in CG though? Was it really more bang for the buck doing it practical? I wonder.
See, I think what that shows me is that they're taking this seriously, right? Like what this shows me is that they are absolutely realizing that they are like, okay, hold on, guys, like we need to make sure that this shit lands, that this shit has got the slap, and also they want people to realize that there's flat out like they've spent the money on it. Because they dropped, goddamn, how much was it? Like $250 million for the rights. That's what Jeff Bezos personally negotiated with the Tolkien estate. And then from there 5 seasons is what they're doing in the Second Age. And the estimated budget for the 5 seasons is another $750 million.
So almost as much as Willow.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Willow's going to take the top spot 100%.
Shout out to Willow.
Straight up.
Love
but
you,
I mean,
Willow.
you look at this shot right here, this one image that they released.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Like you can see where the fucking money is going. When you look at that.
No, that's a cheap video game on my phone.
Yeah, this is totally.
Are they shooting it in New Zealand?
Yeah, they have been.
Nice.
Okay. And the thing with that little teaser there is, I mean, sure, it didn't have the same gravitas that Cate Blanchett brought to the character of Galadriel, so I was a little bit taken aback by that. But the music is very Howard Shore. Like, I mean, because they know that they've got to nail the Peter Jackson aesthetic. They have to nail it close enough.
They have to do better, I think, because people are going to be comparing it so hard. It actually probably has to transcend it.
Probably, but I mean, they at least have to hit that.
Yeah.
If you can at least hit that aesthetic, it gives you a solid idea of everything that's going to be, coming out here. Yes, the Watcher here says, yeah, it means they give a shit, which is true. Like, it's very true. Like, it just looks amazing. And then going back into this article here from the Hollywood Reporter, we get a bit more info, saying here that, as the name suggests, the story follows the forging of the original rings of power that allowed Sauron to spread darkness across Middle-earth. Saying here that this is a title that we imagine could live on the spine of a book next to J.R.R. Tolkien's other classics. The Rings of Power unites all the major stories from Middle-earth's Second Age, the forging of the rings, the rise of the Dark Lord Sauron, the epic tale of Numenor, and the last alliance of the elves and men. This is coming from J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay. Until now, audiences have only seen on screen the story of the One Ring, but before there was one, there were many, and we're excited to share the epic story with them all. And it goes on a little bit more here. And so kind of like talks a bit more about the previous description of it. Says here that it brings to screens for the first time the heroic legends of the fabled second age of Middle-earth's history. This epic drama is set thousands of years before the events of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and will take viewers back to an era in which great powers were forged, kingdoms rose to glory and fell to ruin. Unlikely heroes were tested, hope hung by the finest of threads, and the greatest villain that ever flowed from Tolkien's pen threatened to cover all the world in darkness. Beginning in a time of relative peace, the series follows an ensemble cast of characters, both familiar and new, as they confront the long-feared reemergence of the evil to Middle-earth, from the darkest depths of Misty Mountains to the majestic forests of the Alps capital of Lindon, to the breathtaking island kingdom of Numenor, to the furthest reaches of the map. These kingdoms and characters will carve out legacies that live on long after they're gone. I mean, that is like, they are nailing it, right? I think they are just absolutely doing everything they can to like sell you on this one now. But there's a little other video clip here that came out about almost 3 years ago, kind of giving us a little bit of this, right? A little bit of this. And then I want to talk about, I see Fandom NSL here about the CRT thing. We'll get back into that. But this is a little thing that they put out I think 2019.
Oh, I remember this, I think.
Yeah, like this is the map that they put out. Kind of showing everyone who was behind it. All right, so Toy Story 4 writer, Game of Thrones writer.
These are all writers who really know structure, like really, really well.
Yeah. Gene Kelly, that's a good producer. I mean, look at that right there. Boardwalk Empire, Westworld to the Pacific. I mean, they're bringing in HBO people. And that says a lot to me.
All different ages too.
Yeah. Oh, The Revenant. So the one where DiCaprio got fucked by a bear.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
I mean, that to me, that's a good little promo right there. I mean, because it just shows you like the people behind it, and it gives you a little bit of artwork and a little bit of this, and gives you a bit of the idea and everything else. I think it's going to be, look, dude, this show has to slap. It has to slap. The problem though, like I pointed out with those other images from those idiots, is that they're already setting the stage. And this is what I hate, that they're already setting the stage to try and attack it. I just want to show you this clip here. I've shown it before, but thanks to Fandom Menace for pulling it out again. I caught this randomly one day. A video auto played. It was Nerdrotic talking about Lord of the Rings. And he went on to say this absolutely ridiculously stupid thing.
Alliance and Amazon can do a lot of damage, meaning a lot of room for identity politics, intersectional feminism, or dare I say, even critical race theory. You know, now that I think of it, Sauron wanted to enslave Middle-earth, and that would be equity of outcome.
Yeah. It's all right-wing propaganda at this point, but it's like, this is the kind of shit that 300,000 people are paying attention to.
Oh, he's a bad guy. The whole point is they always want to conquer the world. It has nothing to do. They just want to conquer the world and be the most powerful. They want to be the king of the castle, and the castle is the world. So what?
It's just like, the whole thing is though, like my biggest fear about this, right? And it's kind of what King of the Golden Satyr says. It's like, man, if the show sucks,
I don't think it will.
I don't think it will. I definitely do not think that it will. But it's one of those things where like those are the people that are going to be tarnishing it. And we dealt with this with Star Wars, Jason. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
we know what's going to come out of this one. And I just kind of wonder, like, is there ever going to be a time, like, because all of this shit's super profitable to come out and just attack it and attack it. That's why they're already saying, oh, look at this. It looks like shitty ass CGI. Like, no, it was like practical effects. People who don't know movies, they don't know how anything operates. And it's just like, it's so frustrating because they dominate the conversation. And it's just like, how the fuck do you ever get around that kind of shit?
I don't know. I mean, be a bigger platform, have a bigger.
Well,
voice?
I'm trying, but I can only buy them so fast. I mean, what?
I mean, yeah. I mean, the as long as platforms reward people for kicking up drama and making that the whole reason for even tuning into the platform, it's a problem.
Whoa! Don't knock drama channels. I'm just kidding. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah. No, you know what? No, I do think that there's a place for that stuff, but it is definitely like strange when it's like when you really get down to it, it's almost like nerds self bullying through this weird lens. I don't understand it. I mean, and my take has just always been be the opposite of that. Like focus on what you like. Talk about what you love and what you're passionate about for the most part, even if it lets you down. Boba's let me down, but I'm not going to make it my
See,
my personality.
the weird part about that is that unfortunately that there are so many people that say that they want more positive content, they want less drama content, they want less outrage content, and yet even though they say that, they're still drawn to all those things that they claim they hate. And that's the big problem, because drama and controversy is always more entertaining than positivity. People want to be online, be like, oh, what's the drama for today? Like it's addicting. And unfortunately, like I said, as much as I hear it all the time, oh, we need more positive content, we need more positive content. Then if that's the case, why are all the negative ones getting all the attention?
Yeah, you're completely right. And I also think that when people go that route, they think it means saying everything about what they like is great. Everything about Star Wars is great. Then they just drop the complete their cognitive abilities to be critical just go out the window, and they only say good things. And it's
It's
like
that toxic positivity.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, when everything is good, nothing means anything. Just like when everything's bad, nothing means anything. It's like, I don't care what any of these guys has to say because I already know what they're going to say. And it goes both ways with those people. So it's like, yeah, I wish there was some way that that people who were who love this stuff and were critical of it at the same time could be rewarded. But unfortunately, that's not the world that we live in.
Right.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Right.
Yeah.
And I also think too, that another problem that we're seeing is that it's like people feel like it's the negative like people who talk about like movies and entertainment things they like in a bad way, they feel like it ruins it. But I'm like, but you're allowing it to ruin it for you. Never let anything anyone else says make you sway how you view it. If somebody else, that's one thing I love about coming on here, is that we can talk about things that we like, and if one person likes it and the other person doesn't, it's not like I'm ruining that person's experience by saying, nah, I didn't like that didn't look good, and the other person's like, I still like it. And that's what it should be. That's what it should be. Never let anyone take away what you like just because they don't like it, even if it makes you upset. It's like, who cares? Do you like it? Yes, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's where, I mean, like, I really enjoyed our conversation about Book of Boba Fett. Like, we have issues with it, but we both still like it, know? And that's kind of where it has to be. The problem though with the other side is they've built it up to be something that has to topple, and that they have to be the ones to do it. And I'm like, I don't see that as being something that down the road is going to be 100% sustainable. But it's also like, I mean, I look at, let's say, like Red Letter Media, and people fucking adore RLM. And I'm like, how? All they do is like shit on stuff, like their entire shtick is just like, hey, we saw this movie. Oh yeah, this movie, all consumerism, and you're like, all right, that's the same joke you said last time. New material, perhaps?
See, my favorite YouTuber that covers movies and TV shows is on, I believe it's on Screen Rants. It's this dude who does the pitch
pitch meetings.
Yes, I
Right.
love it. I love it because no matter what the movie, whether it was good or bad, he still kind of takes shots at it, and I think, and he does it in a very funny, unique way, which is why I'm glad that that segment is the main thing I watch on Screen Rants, because that guy, he's talented, he makes it funny, but he also just like, if you really watch him, he's like shitting on everything, and it's but he does it in a funny way. And if that's your stick and that's your whole content, then like I'm all for it. At least you're being consistent. You're taking movies that a lot of people think are good and you're still finding a way to shit on them where it's funny and not be more like attacking
Well,
it.
he does it with like a twinkle in his eye. He does it with you could see that there's a smile behind it.
Yes.
So it's like, I'm going to be critical, but like everyone's in on the joke,
Right.
like, and the joke is always about like the, about roughly like the production or like a story element or something along those lines. It's never attacking a person. It's like never attacking any of the crew or nothing along those lines. So
No,
it's
he makes
definitely,
shots at the director sometimes, but that's why it's funny.
yeah, but the directors be paid to get shots taken at them. Like essentially that's what they're paid for. It's, but it's like an actor is not really going to do, and a lot of people like Ryan George. I think he's really funny, but I'll catch myself watching like a bunch of them like in a row,
Right,
I'm
me
just like,
too.
cause then my whole feed is just full of nothing but him.
But
I
love it.
like Red Letter Media when it's at like that like Critters level, that like Critters to like esoteric film like level. That's
Oh, like
when
best
I
of the worst
appreciate
or
it.
whatever.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Best of the Worst.
People
Right,
people
it's
like that. And I think that's fine. I think that's
Yeah.
fine. Like my criticism of them, it has a lot to do with criticism of like, you look at someone like the Critical Drinker, like, I think the guy just hit like 1 million subs and like, hey, good for him. But it's like, if you look at the content, it's no longer about being analytical about film. It's not about understanding how films come together, or even like how story elements are put together. It's like, it's just nitpicking, and like people have gone, oh, well, do you watch Mahler? I'm like, no, I don't watch I'm not going to watch a 4-hour fucking review of a movie, because it's just, if it's going through and all it is just nitpicking every little detail, I could probably tell you why certain things happen the way that they happen. Cause on movies, like Jason, this, there's a movie you write, there's a movie you shoot, and there's a movie you edit. And your original iteration of something is not maybe going to be the final version of it, and even then that may not be the final version of it, as we see with director's cuts and everything else. So things change. It's very fluid when you're making these projects. But the weirdest thing about these guys who have no experience in any of this stuff is how they view it as a very like finite and rigid system. Like it's such a weird fucking thing. And I just don't get it. I just don't, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, it drives me up the fucking wall.
Yeah, it's more of the way that the audience reacts to it that bothers me. Like Red Letter Media in a vacuum, I don't care. Like say whatever you want. I usually find like what they do is fine. It's the people that walk away thinking like it's an academic text or something, and that there's some
Yeah.
kind of like truth to like take away, and that it like that interpretation is somehow gospel. And it's like not necessarily, because like they make valid funny points about like the Phantom Menace, but I honestly think that in some ways they actually miss the cultural importance and of the movie. I love the movie, for the record. I am a weirdo. I completely just acknowledge it, but it's like but they don't understand me when they critique it, and that's evident to me. That's okay.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think it's there's been this, my approach to it has always kind of been like, I've been critical about like elements of the Snyder fandom for a while, like, and it's I think a lot of that has to do with just my own personal frustration with it. But I try but when I talk about the movie, I talk about it positively, like, because I really like the movie. I spent so long working in theaters, so fucking long, that like even today, like New Bev put out a tweet. They were like, hey, listen, we're looking for anyone with projectionist experience. And I'm like, son of a bitch. If only I still lived in LA. I got calluses on both my freaking pointer fingers from working on a 35 mil projector for years.
Yeah.
I have tinnitus from working on movie projectors, from being around them so often, so it's
sure,
like,
that's what it was.
no, really it is. It's a constant grinding of the machines.
Yeah, it is a constant grind.
Amongst other things.
For hearing. That's no, you're thinking tendonitis, and no, I mean like tinnitus is your ear. No, I openly I don't know. My wrist is fine.
Calluses on your fingers.
The calluses on my fingers are on the. No, you're thinking of not my palm, Saggy, my finger, Unless
I
I'm
mean, some
like
guys use
sticking
their
a pine
finger.
cone up my ass and then trying to like really just grind
Some
it in
guys
there.
use the finger.
To
It's
do
okay.
what?
You know. We don't gotta talk about it.
On
You know.
my, I have what?
Huh?
It's like, I don't fucking know. I think you lost the plot. I think you're trying to make a joke about either like I stick something up my pee hole or my butt.
If it's numb, use the thumb.
I've never heard that one before. And
You
can you
watched
explain
Big
it?
Sound.
Mouth?
Good stuff.
Hold on. You watched Big Mouth and you never heard that gross monster? Oh, what
No,
the heck?
I don't.
Rick?
Was it from the last 2 seasons? Because I've missed them.
No, it was
So,
from. I think it was from like season
If it's-
when he first gets that nasty hormone monster. The second
if
season.
it's numb, use the thumb. What like?
Rick, that's his name. Rick. He's like, yeah. When he's trying to tell the dude, and he's like, yeah, if it's numb, you know what they say. If it's numb, use the thumb. I don't know what it meant either, but it was funny. I just wanted to say it.
I don't know. I don't. Do you know they're doing a Big Mouth spin-off show?
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it. or the
Yeah, it
teaser
should be
for
pretty
it.
funny.
HR, yeah, it looks pretty funny. I see some new characters. I'm interested to see what they do.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. Okay, hold on. Label Kills here says Upspeak is insufferable to listen to. I hate listening to people that talk like a Valley girl.
Like, oh my god, I totally like agree with you. Like, oh my god, it's so like silly.
Here's the thing with that though. Valley girls don't talk like that. But
Yes, they do. Like, what are you talking about?
like, oh my god, Becky. Oh my god, that's like 90s
Like
speak right
pumpkin
there.
spice
Yeah.
and latte and little cute chihuahua dogs.
Valley Girls today, it's all like vocal fry.
What is that?
Yeah, it's like you know, they like have that like
Oh.
really low vocal fry thing going on. Yeah,
What they sound like? That sounds like a freaking stoner.
yeah, kind
Well,
of.
they probably are. It's legal there.
Yeah,
You know,
everybody's down here.
Yeah.
all the
man.
time. It's like it's what makes living in California tolerable. Maybe
Oh,
that's why I
I'd
want. Maybe
love
that's
to
why I
live
want to move back.
I'd love to live out there, but man, it's too expensive.
It sucks. I
Yeah.
lived in San Francisco for a while, and that was bad. So I came back down to Southern California because it's at least you don't have to own a tech company to live in Southern California.
Yeah, no, my
But-
friend, he has a lot of money and he has like a big house and he's like, you should come live here. I'm like, you gonna pay my bills when I do? Because can't afford to live there. You gonna let me stay in your friggin' mansion? Because that'd be friggin' cool.
You know, it just occurred to me, like, but what we were talking about a few minutes ago, though, I think like a really important thing that's just generally missing from a lot of the general like discourse and from the fandom menace types to the people who love everything now is that like is when people are negative, it's just really important that they're like on the side of the creative still. Like you could tell when somebody's just never on the side of art. They're never on the side of the content makers or the people who want to make something.
Yeah.
Like when they purposely make themselves the opposition to it, there's no conversation to really have there. At that point, it's just wrestling.
People don't want a conversation. They just want to be angry. That's what I feel like. It's playing on people's rage. That's why we call it outrage content, because that's basically what they're doing. They want people who feel like, they watched a movie and they're like, I watched that movie and you're right, it wasn't that good. But I agree with you. Now I'm mad with you. And that generates clicks, that generates ad revenue for them. And it's just milking the thing. Like, I never hate on people's hustle, but I can also see the optics of how that can affect, how people view entertainment. Because I always say, remember the days when no one gave a shit about the directors because we didn't have access to them on social media. So we were just watching stuff and it either was good or it was bad, but we didn't care that much to go and say, well, what are the actors doing today? What are their political views and how do we feel about these things? Like, I miss the days when we were kind of just ignorant, just watching stuff to watch it, not really caring about who directed it, what they're doing and stuff like that, and having a reason to hate on these people and then find a reason to hate the films that they put out. I think like not to go back to the Joss Whedon incident, I guarantee you if no one had social media and Joss Whedon just did his things, like everyone loved Joss Whedon's work before. And for the record, to his record, he makes good stuff. But all the other stuff that follows it, it's like, it's always drama. It's always controversy. And that's what people, like somebody said TMZ, that is what they're interested in now, is all the drama behind the scenes of all this stuff. And that's why you have YouTubers who just do what they do and just crap on entertainment, directors, and things like that in the industry, because that's what the audience wants to talk about now, is all the bull crap behind the scenes.
It's because they're numb. They should use the thumb.
Yeah, if you're numb, use the dumb.
Oh.
Bravo. I can't do a good Rick voice. I can't do a good
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah. I mean, Nick Kroll. Yeah, he's Jesus fucking Christ.
He's hilarious.
He's very funny, but he uses a lot of like the same voices I've noticed. For like, because he's also Uncle Fester in the Addams Family animated movies, and he sounds like a character from Big Mouth. And then he's also oh god, what is it? And he's also like Gunther in the Sing movies.
Oh yeah.
That's
Question for you though, real quick, a little off topic, but how did you feel about that last episode of Big Mouth? Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen the last 2 seasons yet.
Okay, never mind. I can't tell you.
It's one of those things where it's like once my kids got like it wasn't like they're sleeping in like a like a rocker, right? Or like they don't know anything that's being said, or like because nowadays like what it was also is like when I went, when they would go down for their nap, I could watch something. But now it's like, my 2-year-old goes down for a nap, and today my 4-year-old's like, I'm tired, I want to go lay down. I'm like, all right. So I put her in the room with the 2-year-old, and all they fucking did is just make noise and play. Right. And like, well, then I can't get anything done because I was, like I'm there because they're in there. Like, I'm trying to make sure the 2-year-old can get a nap because I know she's going to be a terror later, and it's like, I couldn't watch anything if I wanted to. So it sucks.
I love kids, but I'm glad I don't have any.
I love kids. I'm glad I have kids. There's just days where you're like, oh my God.
I love kids. I just love the kids that I can give back to their parents. Here you go. They pooped. You can have them now.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing is like today, like I was kind of complaining about it to my girlfriend. I'm like, I just don't have time to watch movies, because I stream at night and then like I might be able to watch a show or something before bed. And she's like, well, do you want to wake up in the morning and watch a movie? I'm like, yeah. So she's like, okay, I'll get you up and then I'll watch the kids while you watch a movie. So, all right, cool. I woke up this morning and fired up Extraction, which I've been wanting to see forever, and enjoyed it. So, and now I got to figure out.
That's a great girlfriend, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's supportive. She's supportive.
I will say this. The main reason why I'm glad I don't have kids is because I feel like baby poop is the devil, and it is the devil's work, and I refuse to change a diaper.
You know what? So I'm not. Remember in South Park? Do you ever see like the old South Parks when like Stan is around Wendy and he throws up all the time?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's me. I'm that throw up kid, and like my friends would just be like, "Look, Jason, dog poop." I would just throw up. But when it's your own kid, it's like it's not gross. You're just like, yeah, I just have to do this. It's weird.
I had a baby throw up on me once because I was like, oh my god, the baby's so cute. The baby was like, yay, smiles and bleh. And I was like, take it away from me.
Same. I'm the same, like usually, but when it's my own, it's different.
I don't have a weak stomach at all, and that's the crazy part. Like my mom literally threw up in my hair watching the friggin' Silence of the Lambs. She was so proud of herself too. She's like, I saw this in the theater, and when I got to the scene where the guy was eating the brain, I didn't even gag or nothing. And then we got to that scene, and she watched it. She threw up in my hair, and I laughed so hard. And then she came back trying to clean it up. She went and threw up again. I was dying. So I don't have a weak stomach, but man, baby poop and baby vomit does it for me.
Here's the thing. Baby poop, like when they're freshly born, like it's like meconium, right? Yeah. So it's just their body exiting out what was in there from like when they had. It looks like black tar. I wear gloves. I got latex gloves. I just wear latex gloves and stuff because you can just wipe them and then you just hold the diaper in the palm of your hand, like right in your hand, and then you just pull the glove up and over. Nope. And it creates like a little thing for that. But once I started feeding my kid real food, that's when it fucking goes off, man. Like my 4-year-old, she will like, she's like, Daddy, I pooped. And I'm like, she's telling me now, which is really good. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And then it's like, depending on what she ate, you can tell. Like you can just tell. Because she's also at that point where she's really fascinated by it. She's like, I want to see. And I'm like, I don't know why it's gross. She's like, ooh, that's big. And I'm all like, and then I'm just like,
kids are so funny, dude.
Oh yeah. I looked at her and just said, wait till yours clogs the toilet on its own, and she's like, what? And I'm all like, you'll know if you're anything like your old man.
One thing
break
I
a
love about
plunger.
kids is they have no filter, dude. I love it. They are so like blunt and honest and like so like what like some of the things my nephew has said to me. I had to come back from Florida because my mom had passed away, and he came over to me and he goes, "Hey," and I was like, "What's up, buddy?" And he goes, "I heard your mom died," and I was like, "Yeah, buddy." He's like, "Do you miss her?" And I was just like, my jaw dropped. I'm like, yeah, yeah, buddy. You know, like, what do you say to that? And I'm like, I know he doesn't understand the concept, but it was just the most awkward thing. And I was telling people, and their faces dropped, and I'm like, why are you shocked? It's a kid. Like, kids keep it realistic. If a grown man tells me I'm unattractive, I don't care. I brush that shit off. When a child tells you you're unattractive, you're like, damn, I must be ugly as shit. A freaking kid just told me I'm ugly. They have no filter. Kids are the most honest people on this planet. So whenever a little kid goes, "You're pretty," I'm like, "Thank you. You made my day. Thank you. I feel confident today. Thank you so much."
My daughter came over to me. She gives me a hug. She just goes like, "Daddy, you're my best daddy." You know, and I'm like, "Oh, thanks, kiddo." And then I'm holding like both her and her sister, and I'm just like, "You're my best."
Oh.
I love you. You know, because I don't want to say that. I don't want her to think like, I don't want to put favoritism in whatever. So you got to be careful about that. It's just kind of funny because like there's this like a couple years ago there was this whole thing where somebody privately recorded me, and I had said my youngest daughter was sick, and I said my girlfriend's got her, and they took it to say my girlfriend's daughter, which spawned this whole fucking thing. But like the rumor was like I was a cuck, and like my girlfriend had sex with a black guy named Tyrone, and like I was raising another man's kid. And that's like my girlfriend and I joke about that. Like,
Yeah.
because you just like it's just so absurd you just have to joke.
Just call Tyrone.
Yeah, well, we had her first birthday party, and I'm like, everyone was there, and I'm like, oh, it turned out pretty good, and like, who didn't come? And she just goes, Tyrone. And I'm all like, oh, and she's just laughing, because you just gotta fucking like laugh at the stupid shit.
By the way,
Yeah.
people, if you're gonna say a black guy, there are other names for black men than Tyrone. There's, Shaq,
Kanye,
Michael B. Jordan.
Eric with a Q. No, really, there was a guy on ER, like Eric. I think Eric LaSalle was his name, and it was Eric with a Q.
It's crazy that I do have an uncle named Tyrone, so I'm just saying.
I mean, like, I didn't come up with the name Tyrone. Somebody else did.
Yeah.
Tyrone. It's always the default black guy.
It is the default.
Tyrone.
Yeah, it is really terrible on that one. Like, if you're ever in like a movie and you write a character named Tyrone, look, I'm just gonna say, like, there's maybe some deep-rooted racism there. Like there's different black sounding names you can use that aren't also like that aren't also like super over the top. Like what's Regina Hall's name from Don't Be a Menace is Dashiki, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, so things like that, right? You got like some of those names that are clearly more rooted in African culture, but
Well, I will say this, like black people make the most jokes about the names that we are given, and it's kind of funny. I remember with my family, I was like, why? I was like, we were sitting down at dinner, and we were talking about like weird names for people that have black families name their kids, and I was like, yeah, don't you ever notice that they all sound like medicines, like Pepto Bismol, like like it always sounds like a medicine.
there's an SNL skit where they make fun of that.
Oh yeah, I remember that, but that was funny to me. I'm like,
I would bring it up and I would play it, but SNL likes to block videos worldwide if you do. So no. But on that note, guys, it is 12:45 here. Peacemaker is on. I know people are watching it. I do want to go watch it. I also do need to start getting towards bed because it is. I gotta get up early with the kids. So I do appreciate you guys coming on tonight, hanging out, Jason especially, because I know you haven't been on in a while.
It was fun.
Thank you, man. So where can people find you?
Yeah, just I'm making Star Wars on all social media stuff and making Star Wars on YouTube. And if you want to watch a Star Wars show that we do daily, it gets pretty deep, pretty esoteric stuff that we delve into with Star Wars. But come and hang out with us and share your opinions. It's a good time.
And when do you do the UFO stuff?
I usually do that like on Saturdays. I usually like every Saturday or every other Saturday, I pretty much will do like a UFO episode where we just delve into something. This weekend, I'm going to be delving into this Kit Green academic article he wrote about people that were injured by UAPs. Yeah.
What exactly is a UAP? Unidentified
Unidentified
aerial phenomenon.
which is what the government's been using for UFOs, because people see UFO, they think of flying saucer, and they've been using UAP since like the 60s.
That just sounds very similar to a UTI, and this gets a little bit weird there.
Yeah, but UFOs.
Okay.
Why?
Why what? Why UTI? You got to wipe front to back, Saggy. Okay, that won't happen again.
Oh my god. Okay, good night, everybody.
Good
Thanks,
night,
guys.
everyone.